All right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, what we got here? Shadow, $20 super chat to start us off. Thanks for being you. Hey, thanks for being you. Much love. Much love. Thank you, Shadow, for starting us off. I appreciate that. I really do. And you know that's my favorite character out of all of the chat stickers too. So yep, I see you. I see you. How's everybody doing tonight? Happy Thursday. Happy Heart Truth Live. What we got in here? All right, let's see. Let's see who's rolling with us tonight. We have Shadow, Joanne. All right, Joanne became a member, what, a day or two now? All right, so you, Joanne, you already been with us. You just joined as a member, but technically, well, the opposite. Untechnically, you were a member already. You roll with us so much until, you know. So thank you for making it official. Blue Aqua. All right. Cindy Alvin. All right, K-Dub. What's up, K-Dub? Divino Distrata Faccio. Whoa. Look, that's a prestigious name. All right, good night and welcome, Divino. Alice there. All right. We got Scotland in the house. That's right. Much love, Alice there. Eddie Ruler. Okay. Hola. Welcome. Good to see you. All right. Alicia Mary Lee Richardson. Gabriel. Woo. You and Davino, what if y'all got married? What would your last name be? Lee Richardson, Gabriel, Distrata Faccio. That'll be your last name. It'll take you 2 days to sign an application. All right. Let's see who else we got. All right. Let's see who we got. We got AF in the house. All right. That's my AF right there. Woo! I caught you live. Hey, Art Truth. I see you. AF is our donor of the month. And also, just awesome. I can't even think of a word to describe AF. How much support for this channel and all the good conversation and cool posting and keeping us, live, keeping what we're saying interesting. All right? I just, I can't, words can't describe how much AF has been to this channel. I know people saying, I've been donating too and I've been giving you stickers and stuff. Listen, y'all all show love, even just by viewing the videos, Everybody shows some level of love, but I'm going to tell you something. AF has made the difference since I've been doing it. I can only speak for myself. I'm telling you, AF has been there. And so I appreciate that. And, Shadow started us off with my little bowling ball man. All right, so we're doing good. We got a few things to talk about tonight. I hope you brought your detective's glass and your DNA kit and your gloves and everything you're supposed to have. If you're a detective, I hope you're bringing all of that with you mentally because we have to put our thinking caps on. All right? So let's see. I want to start with Brian, and then I want to move to Dylan and Bethany, And then from there, I'll let you choose the last topic. So whatever you're itching to talk about while I'm talking about what I'm talking about, just hold on to it. And the third topic, you can have it. You see? So you don't have to be talking about something completely different in the chat while I'm talking about something completely different. That makes sense? All right, all right. Let's get started. How's everybody doing? Everybody had a great week so far? Everybody breathing hard, waiting for Friday? I know it. I know it. One maiden nut in the house, shout out. I'm going to give you the first shout out. One maiden nut. And I forgot, hold on, I forgot to give, did I give Al and shout out? Let me back up and start with them. All right? And then jump to you, one maiden nut. All right? So let's start with Shadow. Shadow is first. Okay? And then we got Al. And then we got one maiden nut. All right, shout out to Shadow, Al, one maiden nut. All right, and we getting ready to roll it. Try to keep up with y'all in this chat, boy. Y'all be typing, boy. Reading and typing, quick. Reading and typing. We need to make it to where y'all can call in where I can hear somebody. That's crazy. The only voice we hear through the whole thing is mine. That's crazy. I'm gonna figure out how y'all can come in, you see, where y'all can call in and we can hear you. So give me a few days to figure that one out so people can call in, people that's in the chat actually engaging in the conversation can call in and, it's like that. Oh, snap. We got some more people in here. Hold on. Shout out to Rosanna, Scotty, American Princess, JD. Okay. Y'all, Crown Vic. Can I be a moderator? Of course you can. Give me 1 second. All right. JD, Alicia. Okay, I think that's where I stop. I think. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Let me see if I can do this moderator thing right quick. And then we'll be off to the races. Y'all do some talking. What's up? What y'all been doing this week? Who been doing something they don't have in the business? Tell the truth. Let us in on it. Huh? Let us in on it. Now, let me look at I'm looking for your name, but I don't see it. Crown Vic. I see some, but I don't think this is you. All right, just give me a minute to take a minute to the side to do that, because I'm in there looking at the list and I don't see it. I don't see your name. All right, so let's see. Nope, that's not yours. Paste the channel URL of the user to add as a... Okay, I'll try it that way. Hold on, y'all. Just a minute. Let's get that done. Y'all can be chit-chatting to each other right quick. I don't know if I'll be able to see it. Let me just hold off on that for a minute. I'll get to you, Crown Vic. I'll make a note here, because I'm going to have to look for your name in a bigger list. All right. So let's see. What y'all got going here? I see somebody showing love. And I'm going to open up my screen here and start with, I think this is the first one. Let me go back and see if I can get that off the screen. Okay, I got it. Now, it should be going along. Hold on a second. This is the Idaho Statesman. And let's see if we can get it to reload. How y'all doing? Everybody all right? Let me see what y'all are saying in this chat. All right. This article is talking about Brian Coburger in this grand jury closed hearing. Okay, and we're not going to stay on these articles long, but I wanted to point out a couple of things here. So let's see, is it going to cooperate? I can read the article. You all don't have to see it. Okay. It starts out telling us that Brian Coburger murder case hearings to challenge grand jury indictment delayed. Now, that everybody on the defense, on the prosecution side, is waving these things away like they're no big deal. The stuff they say about the hearing, it's like they don't have any confidence that in the defense being able to do something. Everybody's saying that Ann Taylor is grasping at straws, pretty much. Everybody. And so I think she's being underestimated, either that or we're being played as the public, right? Because, I mean, this lady, to me, the decision she's making, she's being thorough. If she didn't do these things, they would say she's not a good lawyer. Oh, she's not doing all she can for Brian. You know how we do. So, I mean, if she wasn't filing for these extra things or whatever, I mean, she would get criticized either way. But some of the stuff that she's doing that people are calling a waste or unnecessary, hey, maybe it is necessary. I mean, we don't know what that lady knows. Why everybody's saying, wait for more evidence on Brian. You know, for what? If you can't say for sure that Brian did these crimes with all of the stuff that we know, whether it was published, leaked, or just our common sense kicking in, if you need more information, you need to wait for the trial, then you don't believe he's guilty either. For all of these people that's saying Brian's guilty and the prosecution has more evidence, just wait for the trial. If you've been going from channel to channel saying that, you don't believe he's guilty. Because if you believe Brian Coburger is guilty, you should be able to say that right now. They said they got his DNA. They said they got his car on camera. They say he knew somebody, or they hinted at that. You know, they claim he's a psycho. You know, they said he was acting up at the school. They said all these things about this guy. So if you need to wait until the trial, then you don't believe he's guilty either. If you can't say it today, right now, September 21st, I don't even want to hear it no more. Ain't no use in running around arguing with everybody that believe Brian Coburger is innocent. You might as well shut it down, because if you can't say he's guilty right now without the prosecution, you said yourself you want the prosecution to dig up some more evidence. That's what you said. So why do you need to wait for the trial, and why does prosecution got to, dig out some more stuff from their little trick or treat bag? They gave you a PCA, that they're giving you changed, updated information. You should have enough. That's just the way I see it. Now, in this article, this is how they're talking about Ann Taylor and how she's managing this case. It says pretrial hearing scheduled for Friday for Brian Coburger, the man charged with murdering 4 University of Idaho students last fall, were postponed Thursday because of an illness. Coburger's attorneys were set to argue that their client's indictment by a local grand jury should be thrown out on several procedural grounds, with only one of the two to be debated in public. So these hearings to, go against the grand jury are private. And so, as long as they're in there, I really don't care about that. Those hearings are now scheduled for October 26th on account of the unspecified illness. So who's sick? That's what I would like to know. Who's manipulating the court docket? Who is sick? I would love to know who is sick. Do y'all know? Let me go back in the comments and see what y'all talking about. See if y'all listening to me. All right. Let's see. LOL, it'll be a problem is what it would be. Okay, Alicia, if you had all those names. Shout out to Alicia. I didn't see that. Yeah, I think you got enough names. Don't marry these Strata a Chio. I hope I'm saying that right. Don't do that. All right, Davina. Close, not bad. Okay, see, I didn't murder it too bad. Okay, one night, made night, I'm always glad to see you. All right, you and Annie Ruler go cut up, I know it. All right, let's see. I'm trying to get some more. Let's see, K-Dub, American Princess, Johnny D, I don't want to mistrial. I hope that there is not a guilty verdict. All right, shout out to American Princess, JD, Rosanna. All right, Rosanna, you joined recently. Yeah. Yeah. I hope you're doing okay. Shout out to Rosanna. I am doing okay, and I hope you're doing just lovely. I just hope you're doing just lovely. Bubbly Waters. Dang, good to see you. Been a while. Yes, it has. I don't know where you went, but you used to jump in there on my little PowerPoint slides. Remember my PowerPoint slides? All right, let me give Bubbly Waters a shout out. Maybe we can agree on some things, or maybe we can clash on some things, and some new ideas will come out of it. Yep. We'll see. All right. Good to see you. Let's see. All right, K-Dub, I think I got everybody. L.A., shout out to L.A. All right. You welcome, American Princess. I'll give the brain, if y'all earn it. And so far, y'all been earning more and more. Right? All right. What's up, Leslie Vasquez? Now, there's my Les right there. Okay, that's the life of the party. All right, good to see you, Les. I see you. All right. You got them going, Bubbly Waters. I've been hearing your name a lot. So I've been a little tied up or whatever. I haven't been on anybody's channel. But I want to check it out. Please tell them it's very time consuming. And then they'll say, oh, we don't like that one. Give her 230 views and let's go, man. Let us show her. Don't give us that garbage anymore. And we spent, 6 hours putting that together. Kathy Snow in the house. All right. Shout out to Kathy Snow. All right. Now, I'll be back to the chat, but I need to go back to my article. If you're still coming in, shout out to Tony Grant, Swamp Side Chick. How about I shout y'all out together so we can do this in a faster fashion. Save time so we can get to all our topics. Good to see everybody. There's LA, $9.99 Super Chat sticker. Here for the brain. All right, I'm going to see if you get one, LA. I'm going to see if you get one tonight. That's right. I'm going to see if y'all I'm gonna see if y'all get one tonight, because it's gonna be hard tonight. You gotta pay attention. You know, there's the kicker. You gotta pay attention tonight. Now listen up. What they're saying is, I want to know who is sick. While I'm digging up the rest of this, oh, let me give LA a shout out for the super sticker. Y'all slow me down. Listen, shout out to LA for showing some love. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, supporting us. Okay. Cindy Dame in the house. Shout out to Cindy Dame. All right. One of the coolest usernames. Right? Good to see you. Good to see you. I see you, Kathy Snow. Let me send y'all some love, because y'all riled up tonight. All right. All right. Now, what was I saying? Oh, the attorneys are saying they set to argue, but somebody is sick. So whoever's sick is controlling the court docket, first of all. They keep talking about this illness. Whose illness? Who's sick? Who is manipulating the court like that? Is it the prosecution side that's claiming somebody's sick, or is it the defense side? Y'all put it in the chat. Who is ill controlling the court docket? The prosecution side or the defense? Audacious Dreamer. Shout out to Audacious. Let me. All right, I see you. I see you. Audacious Dreamer. I got you right here. All right. Good to see you. Who is claiming they're sick? Huh? Who's claiming they're sick? The prosecution side or the defense? That's okay. Andy Ruler said the prosecution is the one faking, talking about an illness so they can control when these court dates are scheduled with the court. Another one, Bubbly Waters, prosecution doing it. American Princess, someone in the defense. Let's just watch some. I don't know what that is. Okay, we got mostly for the prosecution. Okay, so you mean the prosecution needs more time? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they do. That's why I wouldn't have waived the speedy trial. I know a lot of people disagree with me. You've already told me you disagree. I believe they should have gone with the speedy trial for the simple fact that the prosecution is not ready either. Yeah, that's right. Alice there, they both stink in my opinion. Let me shout out to Alice there. You right. The prosecution wasn't ready either. It would have been a circus show regardless of when they go to court. It's gonna be a circus show regardless of when they finally go to trial, if they ever do. It's such a big drama Broadway play, you know. It's already some clown stuff going on. And so what I'm saying is the defense, I mean, they could have done it all. They could have fought the grand jury. All that is waiting on a decision once you file the papers. You know, either they're gonna do it or they're not. And then you have somebody else preparing for the trial. You see? Who is sick? They keep talking about an unknown illness. It's always some slick stuff going on. Now it's the unknown illness. We want to know who is ill so we can make a note of it. Okay, because they're giving that as an excuse for two different changes. They said the pre-trial hearing scheduled for Friday were postponed Thursday because of illness. All right? And then they're saying the hearings are not scheduled for the 26th on account of unspecified illness. So they were postponed because of illness, and they're going to be scheduled for the 26th because of illness. How you know the person going to be healthy on the 26th if they're sick right now? How do you know the 26 gonna do it? How is it based on the person that with the illness? I mean, come on now. Sickness is a pretense. They all need to confer off the record and get this figured out. That's right, get their story straight. In other words, before they have the closed hearing and have it recorded on the record, they're all actors. Well, shout out to One Made Nut. Thank you for that. I agree. Y'all get your story straight. And then you won't have to need all this extra time and word. Get your story straight. And I'm talking about the prosecution and the defense. Because they all getting paid by the same entity, basically. So we have to keep that in mind too now. I want to know who's sick too, Cindy. Now let's see. Annie Ruler. I understand speedy trial issue. In my opinion, judge needed to sanction Thompson or FBI, ISP, or MPD. Whomever is not giving the proof of the PCA is blatantly flopping public and flipping the public and BK off, in my opinion. Right? I think they are flipping them off. Shout out to Annie Ruler. I think that's exactly what it is. They're giving them the finger because they know this case is garbage, but they're saying, hey, what can you do about it? But just call it garbage, you know, and we're still going to get a check. That's pretty much what they're saying. We get the check for playing around with this case, even though 4 people died, and we're going to get a check after this. So it really doesn't matter what you think. You see what I agree with you, Andy. Shout out to Deb Tutoro. What's up, Deb? Now you know you should have flagged me. All right, the prosecution not ready. I'm gonna agree with you quickly because guess what? They weren't. There's nowhere in the world the prosecution could have made it through speedy trial. They got so much stuff they're bluffing about that they would have to go back and clean it up before the judge. They might have ended up having to tap out. But now they got plenty of time to serve us some more horse manure. While Brian Coburger's in jail needing a horse tranquilizer, they're out here shoveling us horse manure. That's Idaho. That's Idaho right there. I mean, every state, you know, if you're American, you know, every state has its own personality. Idaho is got Brian in there needing a horse tranquilizer while they're out here shoveling us some horse manure. That's what's going on. And the only thing that's changing from month to month is the amount of horse manure that they're shoveling on us is getting larger and larger. That's the only thing. You see, y'all wake up. Much love. We got ways to go. And so now all of a sudden, everything they're doing, you know, is to buy more time. They got this surefire case with DNA and all of that. So what's up, Apocalypse? Fallon? I see you. Let me grab these comments right quick. I'll get back with y'all. All right? Yes, and now BK is laughing, and they're all going to get away with it till they meet Jesus. If they meet Jesus. Everybody ain't going to meet Jesus. Shout out to AF. Everybody ain't going to meet Jesus. And some of these people, you know, pretty much desecrated the graves of these kids with some of the stuff they're putting in the news, and that's including the family members. It's not just the media. The family members in on this circus show too. You know, just coming out saying anything to keep the media lit up and keep us with our mouths hanging open saying they must think I'm stupid. I mean, they running that same play every week. So what's up, you know? What's up with that? That's what's going on. So the prosecution is buying time. They're just doing it. They're too ashamed or embarrassed to use one of their timeouts. You know, in basketball and football, you get a certain number of timeouts. And after you use those up, you got to just keep playing. I think the prosecution needs a timeout. And instead of admitting that so the media can eat them for lunch, like they've been doing the defense, in the media, now somebody's sick. Come on out and say you need to use a timeout and let your people know that this is really weighing on your nerves a little bit. Or if somebody need to take a vacation, they want to take a break so they can get away and go play golf somewhere or ride a horse. I'm just saying. Who's sick? I think you have to pay attention to what is in the Idaho Statesman. For those of you saying I'm biased towards Idaho, I am not. All of this information about sickness is coming from the Idaho Statesman. So it's got to be the prosecution that needs more time, right? It's got to be. This is the Idaho Statesman saying this stuff. All right, let's move down a little bit. Coburger's defense team in July filed a request to dismiss the indictment for what they contend was an error in instructions given by the grand jurors. A month later, they submitted another filing that cites 4 more legal challenges. Notice they said nothing about that 24 reasons list or none of that is in here. The procedural concerns Coburger's public defense raised last month include claims of grand jury bias, as well as the use of improper evidence and a lack of sufficient evidence to indict. The defense also alleged misconduct by the prosecution over its withholding of evidence from the grand jury that the defense says would disprove Coburger's guilt. The defense filed those 4 blah, blah, blah. Let me find what I'm looking for. All right. It says already the use of grand jury by state prosecutors is an intentionally secretive process. Defendants, their attorneys, and the public are not permitted to attend. In turn, the defense is unable to cross-examine witnesses or object to certain evidence. So what they're saying is, we mean for the grand jury to leave the defendant out. Okay, well, that might be the nature of a grand jury. But newsflash, no defense is going to like that, and every defense is going to come against it. If it doesn't rule in the defendant's favor, of course, you telling us you like for it to be that way, that the defendant is not represented, is not present in something that can, decide whether he lives or dies, or she lives or dies. And you want some intentionally secretive process. What you think the defendant wants? To be present. That's just common sense. Don't act like it's just out of this world that they're fighting that. She's supposed to fight it. Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson sat the grand jury exclusively to review the Coburger case, and it was presided over by retired Judge Jay Gaskill, previously of Idaho's 2nd Judicial District in Nez Perce County. According to court records, under Idaho law, only 12 of the 16 selected grand jurors must support indicting a defendant. So, let me show you something about that. Only 12 out of 16 have to say he's guilty or we feel like it's enough to indict him. Only 12 out of 16. So what the prosecution is pretty much going to say is, these people that didn't fill out their application right, the guy that lied about his criminal history or whatever, all of these people that really should have been struck, the 3 or 4 people that should have been struck from the grand jury, we didn't need their vote anyway. You see what I'm saying? Only 12 out of 16 had to indict him. And so if you feel like the guy that can't speak English, that shouldn't have been on the grand jury, and the guy that with the criminal record of felon that didn't report it, and couldn't even check the box saying everything on the application is true to his knowledge, if you didn't like those people, we didn't need that vote anyway. We only needed 12. You see what I'm saying? So this is another reason why the prosecution is saying this is hopeless, what she's arguing about. But the truth of the matter is, even though you didn't need those people, it was out of order for you to have them on the grand jury. It doesn't matter whether you needed them for a majority or not. You didn't do the process right. That's Ann Taylor's argument, and she's right. This is supposed to be the law. You don't get just dot around, you know. You know. Why even come to court in a suit if you're gonna do it like that? You might as well come to court in some shorts and a polo shirt, you know, and some sandals for the beach, some open toes. Come to court in some shorts and open toe shoes. If you're not gonna, if people don't have to fill out the grand jury application right online, you know, you got your computer settings set to where regardless how they answer the questions, they become a juror. That's the only way those people got through there. So Idaho statesmen is really doing whatever they want to do as far as media, but you can't blame them for that. It's their state, so they can say whatever they want to in the news, right? Now, this is another thing. It says, let me see. Let me find it. The indictment vacated Coburger's scheduled June preliminary hearing where a judge otherwise determines whether probable cause exists to move a case to trial. If the grand jury challenge is successful, the case likely would revert to a preliminary hearing. An alternative, the defense offered in the challenge to the grand jury instructions. So in other words, if Ann Taylor is successful in this little private hearing, you know, for them to say, you know, y'all need to walk the line. This is a death penalty case, you know, not something you know, this your side job, you know. That's not what this is. Somebody's life is on the line. We lost 4, here's number 5, you know. So if this is your side job, maybe you need to pass it to somebody that's willing to work full time. Whoever's sick, you know, somebody need to tell them that. If the grand jury challenge is successful, it will revert to the preliminary hearing. So that means we'll be back to where somebody's got to testify. And that'll happen a lot faster than just a straight trial. Am I right? Am I right about that? Is that how it goes? If it reverts back to a preliminary hearing, doesn't the preliminary hearing come in like 30 days or less after that? Is that true? I'm asking you. I don't know. I'm asking you. All right, let me go back to the comment section. I'm not ignoring you. Let's see. We got that one. We got that one. All right. We got anybody typing in here? Audacious Dreamer. I think they are doing all this so we can all get tired of it and just forget it. I'm going to give you the first brain, Audacious, because it's a lot of distraction, isn't it? I agree with that because not only are they trying to lull us to sleep or make us tired of the case to where we move on to the next big tragedy, some people have already moved on, so you can't say their strategy is not working. Some people have already moved on to other cases and just check back periodically. They're not, quote unquote, following the case anymore. Oh, I said a brain. Okay, so you're right about that. You know, not only is it to lull us to sleep about it, it's also to keep propping up these narratives block by block, stuff that we don't even believe that one thing. But they got a lot of stuff they're trying to get us to believe collectively, but they feed it to us one at a time. We had a fit when we found out, when they tried to tell us that Dylan, the killer, passed by Dylan and she saw him and saw his eyebrows and he just passed by her. She had a door crack, looking him dead in the face, but he didn't see her. He didn't smell her. He didn't sense her. Okay, we had a problem with that. So now they're trying to sneak in that Bethany was home and Bethany saw something. All right? Okay, let me give out a brain. I see I'm going to have to give out another one too. I see another good comment. Hold on a second. All right? So I feel like we just being fed, a little bit by little bit, so that it won't, it won't just. Nobody's gonna say both of these girls saw an intruder or saw somebody in black suspicious in the wee hours of the morning and didn't call the police. Nobody want to hear that. And if they would have told us that in December or January, nobody would have believed it. But we'll believe one of them did. Okay, some people are still saying, well, according to Dylan's statement, this happened. Like Dylan's statement is the gospel, the Bible. I just don't believe it. K-Dub, seems like all they want to do is drag it out as long as possible. Shout out to K-Dub. I saw a good comment here. I just need to go back and find it. All right, y'all wake up. What y'all doing this weekend? Anybody doing something fun? Going to do something weird this weekend? Anybody going to do something weird? Now listen, I think they're all sick in that town. I agree, Bubbly, I do. Thompson and Fry had good reasons to be embarrassed with their lives, in my opinion. Shout out to Annie. Listen, I'm just saying. I mean, the prosecution is doing exactly whatever they want to do. All right, shout out to the Apocalypse. Shalom. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Shalom. I'm just sending all y'all some love. I'm looking in the chat. I know I get drawn away from it, but I'm looking at it right now. Stretching out those paychecks. Cindy Dame, I'm going to give you a brain. Yeah. I'm going to give you a brain for that because Ann Taylor making $200 an hour. And I'm sure she has some stipend in addition to that, right? She's not just, buying paper out of Office Depot using her paycheck. She has to have an expense account for stuff she needs during this time. So it's $200 an hour plus. And then the longer they draw it out, both sides, the longer they get paid. This guy, some people were saying he might retire. But why? If that's the case, of course he's going to drag it out. I think he's struggling, be honest with you, because he got all these plea deals. Shout out to American Princess. All right, so I'm going to just say this. The economy is not like it used to be. We are in a whole nother level of economy. The vibe is totally different than what before COVID. It's like, a lot of things have changed, not just prices, but how they treat people, landlords and banks, and, a lot of stuff is changing. A lot of people don't even, deal with businesses that used to be upstanding businesses in the community. A lot has changed. A lot. And so people react to crime differently depending on the mood in that country at the time. If they've been at war and a lot of stuff been going on, those folks not going to want to hear about no murder. I know I wouldn't. They don't want to hear about a quadruple murder, but everything been relatively quiet. We haven't had killings every 5 minutes. And so a town might tolerate something like this if they haven't had a quadruple murder or they claim they haven't had something in years. So if it only happens 7 or 8 years, they're going to give the police department a break and they're going to credit them with low crime rate. It might have just been ain't too many people, out doing stuff. But anyway, let's finish this up and move on to the next article, and then we'll get into our discussion about Bethany and Dylan. All right, so we know that we only need 12 grand jurors. Okay, they're calling it a loser move. He says it's a loser move for Ann Taylor to even to even do it. I'm trying to find the place. Revert to the preliminary. Okay. It says Coburger's attorneys in their argument against the instructions received by the grand jurors asserted that the standard of proof in the Idaho Constitution demands the same level as the conviction at trial, beyond a reasonable doubt. Historically, the language has been interpreted to require the lower legal threshold of being more likely guilty than not, or what is known as probable cause. The same legal threshold is required to obtain a search warrant or make an arrest. Jay Logston, one of Coburger's public defenders in the defense's filing, employed judge to rule for his client, which would support Idaho's past efforts at adopting reforms to the grand jury system intended to restore to that system its function as bulwark for freedom. So, in other words, people have been complaining about the grand jury in Idaho. They've been complaining about it. This is not the first time. He said Edwina L. Cox is a Boise-based criminal defense attorney who formerly served as an Ada County deputy prosecutor. She commended the creativity of Coburger's public defenders in filing the legal threshold challenge, but, now see, she called it creative. To me, that's disrespectful. This is a legal filing in a legal case, you know, when somebody is facing death row. So why would she call challenging the grand jury creative? To me, she's trying to be funny. What y'all think about that? Am I reading too much into this? I think she's trying to be funny. Because, I mean, she's saying Ann Taylor's being creative. What's creative about challenging the grand jury? That's a legal move. That's a legal chess move on the board, just like any of the motions that the prosecution has offered up. So to call it creative, to me, is condescending. Remember we talked about that? I mean, to me, I wouldn't say that. But anyway, it says, defendants in filing the legal threshold challenge, but voiced doubts it will succeed. So she says creative, but it's not going to work. I think that was disrespectful to say it's creative. I think that was condescending. And this is one criminal defense attorney to another. So she over there getting a little check probably for saying this stuff about Ann, you know. Who can you trust? All right. Obviously, it's thoroughly researched and is a novel legal argument. That's what she should have said and left everything else out. All right. She told the Idaho Statesman in a phone interview. But this is a loser motion before this court. And that's the reality of the situation. Did y'all hear that? I'm going to put this paragraph on the screen and take this other one off. I want y'all to see this. This is what the lady said. She said she commended Ann Taylor for her creativity. But she said this is a loser motion. That's what she called it, a loser motion before this court. In other words, I mean, the worst she could say is this is a disgrace. She's saying this is a disgrace, right? All right? LA, I hate to admit this, but I have wondered if Dirty Santa really doesn't have what they want because of investigation not turning it over. Another brain for LA. All right, all right. You see that? You see what I'm saying? They're the ones trying to buy time. Who did I say? They're the ones trying to buy time. What you scared to go to court for these people for, and they're not even ready. All right? Shout out to LA. I said a brain. All right, so, I mean, they weren't ready, and they low-key asking for more time. The prosecution is essentially asking for a timeout with this unknown illness stuff. That's essentially what they're doing. And so everybody on the prosecution, that's pro-prosecution in this case, I hope you're paying attention to that. You see what I'm saying? Mankind has changed. You right, Deb. Shout out to Deb Tudoro. You right, Deb. It has changed. And it's going to keep changing, you know, evolving towards what? Some of everything just, you know, never being like it was before. Never being like it was before, in my opinion. Swampside Chick, I don't think that they thought the case was going to get this much attention from the public and YouTubers. You know, I wonder about that. I wonder about that. Swampside Chick, shout out to you, and I think I'm going to make a little poll on that. Do you think that they thought this was going to be publicized like it was, or do you think they meant for it to blow up like it is? All right, LA, I see it. All right. I'm going to say that Idaho expect this much media attention. And when I say media, I mean YouTube also. I guess it's coming up. All right, there it is. What you think about that? I'm missing an A, but that's all right. All right, AF, exculpatory evidence. Coroner Kathy Maboot's hairdo. Well, it must be, well, I ain't gonna say that. AF, you're not getting ready to get me started talking about this lady. Thank you so much. All right, we got super chat sticking from AF for 20, and the comment is exculpatory evidence of Coroner Kathy Maboot has a beautiful hairdo. That's what his sticker says. All right. Thank you for showing love. Thank you so much. Trying to give you a shout out here. It might look a little weird. All right, I got you, AF. And we got, do you think that Idaho really expected this to be, this is an international case. This is an international case. So, I mean, it's so disgusting the way they did those kids, first of all. And then the way the police handled the case drew a lot of attention, handling it. And then when they arrested Brian, that's when everybody was like, wait a minute. He doesn't, that's, you know, something's not right with that. You know, something's not right with that. And speaking of coroner, you know, Kathy Maboot got up on TV and said, I did not get to the crime scene until 5:30 because of law enforcement. She said that on video. She said a lot of stuff after that, but if you cut it off right there, that's what she said. She said, let me show y'all some love. The chat rate is looking a little weird. All right, so Kathy, that's what she said. She said, hey, I didn't get to the scene until 5:30 because I wasn't, because of law enforcement. So this lady is telling us that Ann Taylor is a loser. Is coming off as a loser. She says a loser motion. Can you believe that? Yeah, and this is a fellow criminal defense attorney. Let me tell you something about that. You know what? All these people that's selling out and going against each other for a little quick check, you're going to have to answer for that later on, because it's going to be a day when you need a friend. It's always going to be a day when you need a friend. I don't care who you are. And so this lady is, you know, her and Ann's supposed to be homegirls, best friends, you know, networking. If Ann Taylor and this lady right here were men, they would be networking. They wouldn't be throwing mud at each other. They'd be sticking together against some stuff they can't handle alone. But here we have, you know, two women that, intelligent women that were able to pass the bar and become attorneys, something that's not easy to do. And look at what's going back and forth. She called this lady's actions a loser motion. And so guess what? She might end up needing Ann or somebody like Ann one day. And then when that day comes, when she need a friend, guess what? You already know. You already know. Now let's see. Let's end this poll. I think everybody voted. 15% said yes. Those people that said yes, let me know why you say that. Huh? No, I hope not. I hope not. Okay. All right. So I think she called this lady's efforts. That's my opinion of that one. Let's go to the next one. Because I think that's a shame. You know, that's your homegirl. Both of y'all from Idaho. Both of y'all in the same game. Crime, law, legal. And so stick together. You know, after you spend that little money for, you know, going public and giving your opinion, you're going to need a friend. You know, you have to be careful how you treat people because you're going to need a friend. And Ann Taylor might be, you know, a multi-millionaire somewhere in the next 10 years just for writing books and stuff where she don't even have to come in the courtroom anymore. Now she's an expert, given how she got Brian Coburger off, you know, just like the Dream Team from OJ. And this lady here, you know, unless she get a Brian Coburger or OJ, you know, ain't nobody gonna hear about her. She gonna need a friend. You know, Ann Taylor gonna be in a position to pull her up the ladder in a few years, probably 2 or 3. You have to think about it like that. You really do. So anyway, here's the second article. Let me find let me change the screen. I got the other one up. Here's this one. I guess it's gonna do right. All right, this is talking about Brian in court. This is a short one, but I thought you might be interested in this. And it says, Idaho killing suspect Brian Coburger's life behind bars revealed. Now, Brian Coburger isn't getting special treatment in jail despite recent reports. That's the first sentence in the article. Brian Coburger is not getting special treatment in jail. That means he is. That means he is. Let's see. It says, let me log into this live so I can see what y'all see. Oh boy. That means he's not, that is. Okay. Let's see if you can see what I see. Yeah, you can't throw mud at people for some little temporary check because later down the line, when you need a friend, it'll come right on back on you. And you'll be done spent that money that they gave you to make your statement. All right, here's the article. It says he has access to a computer so he can read documents about this case, but the computer doesn't have internet access. I don't believe that either. News Nation's Brian Enter revealed on Monday night's Banfield. All right, this came out today at 11:44 CDT time by Liz Jason. He can review and respond to court documents using a thumbnail, which is given to his lawyer. Other inmates have the same computer access. And it says, as for vegan meals, Enton is told that Coburger is only being fed rice and beans. Y'all believe that? Coburger remains in isolation from other prisoners for his safety and the safety of others. They say he might snap and kill again. He has waived his right to a speedy trial, and as a result, the trial is no longer expected to begin on its previously set October start date. Now, do you believe that he doesn't have internet and that he's getting rice and beans every day? Let me go back to the chat. Do y'all believe that? Huh? What's going on? Do y'all believe that? Tony Grant. Kathy didn't get to the crime scene because she was sitting on her butt. All right, shout out to Kathy. Listen, do y'all believe that Brian is eating rice and beans every day? Do you believe that? And do you believe he doesn't have any internet access? This is the money man. Everybody making money off of him. So, come on now. They can't afford for him to be in there committing suicide. Or maybe that's what they want, so they'll be through with it. Huh? That's bad. That's bad. That's really bad. Just to even think about it. All right, who am I shouting out? Kathy. Kathy, she said she put it on the police quick. She said, I didn't come because of law enforcement. And that's probably 100% true. Yeah. Now, I got a delayed response must be. Do y'all believe they found a loner? This is Audacious Dreamer. They found a loner whose family has no money. They knew he'd be defended by a public defender, and they not work for him. Then here comes Ann. All right, Audacious. Shout out to Audacious. That's a real good post. Yep. Ann is doing her job as far as I'm concerned. Shout out to Tetra 5578. Good to see you. Good to see you, Tetra. What's up? I see you. Now back to Audacious. Now, I think that they did pick Brian because they looked him up and realized his family. I think we're assuming his family can't afford a private attorney or whatever. Maybe they don't see the need. Maybe they say either he did it or he didn't. He's either real guilty or real innocent. Maybe they don't see the need to hire an attorney. And then they say the family hasn't been visiting him in jail. For what? Let him do his time. That's a grown man. That's a grown man. Let him do his time in there until he come out. Without his family running every 5 minutes. And stay off of that phone. Calling every 5 minutes. It is what it is. You know, if you locked up, you locked up. Don't terrorize everybody else because you locked up. If you in jail, you know, are you in a nursing home, you know, in a young age where you pretty much can get around and run around like you've been doing, you there for whatever reason. You can't be mad at the world. You got to find some good in it. Because you can't get mad at the whole world because you can't move around like you want to. Maybe it's innocent people in jail, and it's a lot of people in nursing home that the kids ought to be ashamed of themselves because the parents didn't carry themselves that way. They just be stuck somewhere like that. Now, if you don't have anywhere, you can't take care of your parents. You don't have anywhere for them to go. You don't have anywhere yourself. I understand that. I'm not saying this 100%. This is always the case. I'm just saying generally. You know, generally, if somebody's in a nursing home, they don't want to be there. Whether they should be in there or not, as far as their health condition. They don't want to be there. Nobody in jail wants to be there. So, I mean, unless you're just that type of person that likes to be in jail, in and out of jail, you know, that's your reality. Most people don't like to be in jail. But anyway, back to the question. Do you believe that Brian Coburger is eating rice and beans every day and that he does not have access to the internet? How is it that these girls can send him money and all of this other stuff, you know, send him emails and stuff if he doesn't have internet? How is that possible? Do y'all believe this stuff? Huh? I know it's a little boring, but this is the fundamentals. This is the fundamentals. These two articles, the grand jury, and how they look at Brian Coburger right now. I believe they lied to us about the special treatment. I don't believe it. I believe we're getting special treatment because he's a money boy now. Everybody making money off of this dude being a quadruple killer. Everybody. So what's up, you know? One made nut. When the opposition's strongest points to making their debate is poking fun at the other's physical appearance, that's when you know you won. I'm going to give you a brain for that. That's well said. You know, if you got to sit there and try to clown the other person, you know, that's insecure. I read that as insecurity myself. Very well said. Let me find you a brain. One made nut. That was a good one. Because you're not going to sit there and just, you shouldn't have time to be worried about the opposition. You're supposed to be so busy on your side trying to make sure your team wins. You should have time. That shouldn't be a part of your strategy. I mean, my God, can it get any worse? All right, who else we got here? Maybe that's who's sick. He's probably Tony Grant. You think it's Thompson, huh? Shout out to Tony. You know, it probably was. It probably is him. Talking, and maybe he's sick, and maybe he's not. I'm gonna just say that. But they're the ones telling us this is why they're moving all these court dates around, because of the illness. I'm sure he's not the only person that's sick in Moscow. You know, you ain't got nobody to stand in for him. It must be the prosecutor. And I think they're just doing whatever they want to do. They're doing whatever they want to do. All right? Andy Ruler, their internet does have small permissions like some companies do to their employees. All right? Shout out to Andy. You said he has internet, but it's restricted. That might be possible, but I just don't believe he's sitting in jail with a computer with no internet on. That don't even make sense. That don't even make sense. I mean, what can he do? They're gonna keep sticking a thumb drive in the computer. I don't believe it. In 2023, I know if that's the case, that's Mayberry. Moscow really is Mayberry. If he's on a computer with no internet using a thumb drive, come on now. This is getting worse and worse. I don't believe it. He's probably hungry, yeah. Rice and beans will put some weight on your stomach. Depends on what kind of beans. All right? It's some of those big beans. Yeah. It's the big beans. Listen, Brian Coburger is I hope he's got the big beans. You know what I'm talking about? The big lima beans and the big kidney beans, the huge beans. If he's got those kind of some rice, he's straight. You know, he's doing a great job. Don't start me to laughing. Okay. Hell no, all these people bringing him food galore and cigarettes and champagne. That's what I said, Am. I mean, remember they reported to us that all these girls were sending Brian Coburger money and letters, and you know, you can send inmates gifts and stuff. How is this being done without internet? I mean, honestly, how is all this being done without internet? And rice and beans, no special privileges. They trying to act like he doing some hard time. He's not doing hard time. And there's no way they're treating him the same way as they are the other inmates. I don't believe any of that. I just don't. The Idaho statesman, whoever is publishing these articles, they need to slow down. All right, that's enough of that. Okay, we got a lot of comments here. I'm going to go through a few of these first before we switch to our next topic. One made nut. I thought all he was eating all these months was bread and water. They said rice and beans. Rice and pinto beans. Kidney beans. Rice and big green lima beans. He's vegetarian, so, I mean, I guess that's what they have to give him. And then they want us to believe they're giving him the same thing every day. Do you believe Brian Coburger is eating the exact same thing every day? Rice and beans and some water. Do you believe that, though? An audacious dreamer, Brian is eating good, healthy, vegan food. Are you saying you don't believe the rice and beans story? Or are you saying that's good vegan food? These big beans. From now on, we're talking about Brian's diet. He's eating big beans, rice beans. He's eating rice and big beans. That's his diet. All right, Robin, like, shout out to Robin. All right, what? Robin is up in the house on duty. What's going on, lady? Shout out to Robin. Robin Latham. All right. All right, good to see you. Good to see you. I think you probably been in here earlier and I didn't see it. So, I agree with y'all. I don't believe he's eating no rice and beans every day, even if he is vegan. And then I don't believe that he's eating the same thing every day. I don't believe he doesn't have access to the internet, because I've been hearing that Brian been on the internet talking to some of these girls that saying they love Brian Coburger, and how is he getting all this news and stuff? Unless he got a TV with cable on it, how is he watching the news all day, every day? So, I mean, some of this is just not true. I don't believe he eating no beans and rice every day. And I don't believe they treat him like everybody else. Because Moscow's getting so much attention because of this guy. So much attention. Nobody was tuned in the University of Idaho like that before this case. Unless it was football season. I'm just saying. All right. If they had prevented me from going in as a medic, I would have gone in anyway and pronounced them. Ellie doesn't ever pronounce death except in really weird situations. Right? Who pronounced the death? Who pronounced the death, Robin? The coroner gave a time of death as 11:58. Who officially pronounced these kids dead? Do we know? I don't. I'm asking y'all. Who officially counted them dead? I mean, honestly. Eddie Ruler, in fairness, a trial, I was a jury, coroner came 4 or more hours after 911 call. She said customary for scene to be processed first. Yeah, she did say that. Yeah, but processed 5 or 6 hours later, I don't think they meant that. I don't think that's 4 hours. 4 or more hours, really, Eddie? Well, I'm glad you told us that, because I thought that was a lot of time for those kids to be in their house like that. But Annie said that's normal. All right. All right. K-Dub. Yep, Audacious, they are running with the he's not one of us thing. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, okay, okay. I see what you're saying. All right, all right. And cops had. Hold on, hold on. Cops had to clear out a bunch of students from the house. The place had like 10 people there, right? Shout out to Air. I'm just saying, honestly, it was. They said it was a crowd outside, right? They said it was a crowd. Who pronounced them dead? Who pronounced them dead? So who pronounced who got the coroner said the time of death was 11:58. By the time she got there, she had no idea. She had no idea who like how do you say it? She didn't know how things were gonna go, and she had got there so late until she couldn't make an. I guess she couldn't make an assessment. Oh, she could make an assessment, but how accurate would it be? But my question is, are those 10 people, were they inside the house, L? People are saying they were inside the house when they called 911. Didn't the PCA say, didn't they get in a press release and say that the kids were calling 911 from inside the house? Am I just imagining this? Didn't they say that on TV? I'm gonna have to, let me write down, take a note here to look for that. I heard them say that. They called 911 from inside the house. Is it the PCA or did somebody get on TV and say that? They said those kids were inside the house calling. Somebody called from one of the survivors' phone from inside the house. How is that possible? Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. I don't get that. Now, let's see. Cause of death was 11:58. Time of death. That's what she put down. That's the best she could come up with. Evidently, that was the best she could come up with, right? And so, it's no reason to be mad with Kathy about that because she. Hold on, I want to change my screen. She did the best she could. Because she knows she's dealing with over there with people processing and with these detectives. She knows what she's dealing with. All right, here we go. Okay, where was I on the list? I tell my parents to stay away. This is Audacious Dreamer. I tell my parents to stay away. I'd be scared for them because there are a bunch of crazy peeps out here who believe he's guilty. I agree. I agree. Because if you're in jail and this horrible thing happened to you, okay, it's bad. And you need some support from your parents in the beginning probably. But don't just, build man up and show your family, first of all, I'm going to give you a shout out, Audacious, but let me tell you why I say this. Okay, and I know a lot of people here have kids, grown kids, grandkids. You'll know what I'm talking about. When you have a child or a spouse that was on drugs, running around having you worried about them, chasing them, hoping they cut it out. You know how we do when somebody in the family just gets strung out on heroin, crack, pills, whatever it is. Just a cancer. They just become a cancer to the family. Because they always cost the family money, stress. A lot of lies are told. People argue with each other over lies and stuff. Because you got people, the drug addicts in the family got everybody arguing with each other. People believing what they said about the other person. I'm just saying. So when you know you were that person, you were that guy, and you get to a place like this where you're a PhD student, and then you end up on TV, for being accused of a quadruple murder. I mean, You know, you just getting bigger and bigger in the eyes of your family. It don't matter that it's negative publicity. Publicity is publicity. And so they thought you was the man when you was a PhD student. Now you're on TV all over the world, and they keep showing you graduating, getting your degrees, and they're watching him on TV, okay? And so this is not the time for him to put his thumb in his mouth and start asking, you know, acting like he's crying for his family. You know, this is his big chance too. Assuming that I'm going to get out of jail one day, that this is going to be squashed, you know, I'm going to put my best foot forward. It's no use acting like a big crybaby now in front of the world, because if that's the case, if I was his family, I'd shut my door. If he start acting like a crybaby, coming in there with his eyes all red like he been crying, and the correctional officers are reporting that he acting like a big baby in jail, now that's when I'll turn my phone off. I wouldn't turn my back on my son long as he wearing and he's standing up like a man, fighting it to the end. But if he coming there acting like a crybaby, woe is me, running up the phone bill, no. I'll turn my phone off. Look, okay, I understand you over there and you in this pickle. You better pray to the good Lord. That's what I tell him, because that's the only person can help you. You know, I can't help you. It don't matter how many times I come over there. If the Lord ain't on your side, you going to death row, son. You know, and that's it. And then going back to normal life. Once you've been a cancer to your family, like he was showing out, taking his sister's phone, that's probably a big deal in middle income family, because in lower income communities, that's nothing. That's nothing, you know. I mean, that's all he took was a phone. That's what people in the hood are saying. That's all he took was a phone. And they, you know, I'm just saying. So now he owes his family. And so it's no use in him coming there like a crybaby. I owe a shout out to Audacious. And then I'll move on and see what else y'all are saying here. Because I want to talk to you also about this traffic stop. I know we're supposed to be going to Dillon and Bethany, but this will lead into that. All right, let me read a couple more of these, and then we're going to the traffic stop. Okay, let's see. Where did I leave off? Where did I leave off? Okay. All right. That's talking about Dillon. We're going to get to that. All right. We're going to get to that. Mabel should have gotten there ASAP as soon as she was called, and without everyone there, she could have done a good, thorough job. But no, she chose to sit back for 5 more hours and then come. That's Robin Latham. All right, shout out to Robin. Well, she says because of law enforcement. And to me, she's saying, they told me not to come. If somebody tell me the reason I came to the crime scene is because of law enforcement, I'm going to take that to mean law enforcement told me not to come until 5:30. And so I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to let Mabel off the hook. All right? Let's move down. Prisoner I visit got 2 or 3 degrees. Yeah, it's going around. Seem like it. Ain't that right, Andy Ruler? All right, for his safety, for sure. Yeah, that's true. It's the town jail, LOL. Shout out to LA. That's what I'm saying. He's at the county jail. You know, they probably in there playing spades, playing cards, playing chess, sitting around watching the TV, tripping, you know, tripping on it, telling the man, you going to death row. You might as well get ready. You know, and then they got somebody in there. This is how I know all that's a lie. They need somebody in there, another inmate, to get Brian to say he confessed. You know how they come out and say, well, we don't have a drop of evidence in this case, and just when we're about to drop it or give him a plea deal, as long as he says he did it, and lo and behold, he told one of the inmates he did it. So now we can prosecute him. He's guilty. He's been convicted. You know what I'm saying? If he's in isolation, who is he gonna confess to? They have to give him a bunkie, so the bunkie can work on him and say, "Hey man, did you really do this? Did you really do this, Brian?" Man, you can tell me. First he gonna tell him, "You know what, Brian? I never told nobody. Even though I'm in here for this murder, I done like 6 other ones. By the way, did you do your 4? Did you do your 4, Brian?" And then, his family ain't coming to see him and stuff. So he's supposed to be stupid and sit there and say, "Well, I really did." But, looking around first, there's no correctional officers here. Well, yeah, I did it. I'm saying they can't even run that play if he's in isolation. That'll be an easy lick. They can lie on him and say that he told the inmate. If he has a bunkie. But if he don't have no roommate, no bunkies, nobody in the bunk bed over his head, or he probably be at the top because he ain't got no rank. But he would tell his bunkie, he would say, I didn't do it about 50 times to make sure he get his point across. But they can still lie and say he told the inmate. They can still lie on him and say that he told his bunkmate that he did it. So for him to be in isolation, if he's really in isolation, is a blessing. They can't run that play if he's in isolation. But guess what? When they do run it, sometimes it works. The jury goes for that. As fake and fantasy as it sounds and usually is, jurors go for that. When they say he told another inmate, jurors will go for that. They will lean forward and push that red button on you. If somebody says he told another inmate one night, or he wrote to somebody outside of the jail and told them, jurors will believe that. All right, now let's see. BK actually looks like he's gained some weight in jail. Exactly. Well, rice and beans will do that for you. Shout out to K-Dub. Rice and beans will do that. He's sitting around doing that good jail time. He detoxing, whatever. If he was popping a few pills, he getting those from the nurse. What? He said, "I'm never going back to work. Before I go back to work, I say I did it and write a book. I'm never going back to work. I get a tray 3 times a day. I got a nurse that brings me a pill in a little cup. A tranquilizer, a horse tranquilizer. I got all that here. Nobody was respected me in the classroom. Everybody was lying on me, but here they love me. They absolutely love me." That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. And all these letters from all these women. Where were they when I was out in the street? I got women. I ain't gonna say it. I got women in different area codes. That's what Brian Coburger said. I'm the man. I got all the women, all the attention, all the publicity, all the food. It's somebody out on the street hungry right now. But Brian Coburger, he getting a tray. They're going to give him a tray with some rice and beans. They're going to give him they got to give him some kind of dessert or salad sometimes. So, he's not doing too bad. He's not doing too bad. Because this case has got to stick. If this case doesn't stick, he's just another person out here chilling in the county jail. All right, let's see what else y'all talking about. When the opposite, okay, we read that already. Let's get back to the content. All right, AL, cops had to clear out. We did that one. Brian Coburger's family, we did that one. All right, Eddie Ruler, stomach contents will be better than liver temperature in 29-degree weather. Okay, that's the autopsy she's talking about. Well, do we know if Xana had a hamburger and french fry in her stomach? That's the stomach contents I want to know about. All right, that's time of death to say the liver temperature or stomach contents. I'm saying the stomach contents if we could tell what was in Xana's stomach, we could scratch a lot of stuff off our list that we're scratching our heads about. Because if she ate anytime, how long it take to digest a hamburger? Let's see, I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up. How long does it take to digest a hamburger? All right. It says 4 to 6 hours. Meat will generally leave the stomach in 2 to 3 hours and will be fully digested. Here, I'll make a screenshot for you. Meat will generally leave the stomach in 2 to 3 hours and be fully digested in 4 to 6 hours. Our digestive system is well designed to digest meat in order to use it, blah, blah, blah. So 4 to 6 hours. If the coroner, well, I'm trying to think. It would have still been in the stomach, right? 4 to 6 hours. Let's say the time of death was 3 o'clock in the morning. That means that it would take from 3 o'clock in the morning to 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. No, 7 to 9 hours. It would take 7 to 9 a.m. for the meat to digest. So if Xana lost her life at 3 o'clock in the morning, all the food she ate should still be in her stomach. I'm going to put this on the screen. If Xana died anywhere between 2 and 4 a.m., then the contents of her stomach, the DoorDash, if she ate DoorDash, it should still be in her stomach. Okay, I'm putting it on the screen so you can see for yourself. So, who said that about stomach contents? Audacious. I'm just saying, regardless, okay, let's say the lady got to the scene at 5:30. Once you pass away, your stomach is not breaking the food down no more, right? That's not my forte, biology. Somebody tell me, if once you pass away, is your stomach still digesting food? It can't, it probably slow down and come to a halt, right? The hamburger from DoorDash should still be in her stomach if she had DoorDash, right? Isn't that true? If the meat takes 4 to 6 hours to digest, and Kathy Mallett got to the scene at 5:30, the kids were not examined, the stomachs were not examined at 5:30. It was even later than that. But that's neither here nor there. Regardless of what time, if she got there 24 hours afterwards, it should still be in the stomach, right? I think. I don't know. Y'all tell me. I don't know. All right, let me go in the chat, see what y'all talking about. Coroner has pronounced deaths first. What's wrong with these people? Shout out to Cindy Dave. Okay, so when the police came to the scene, they didn't pronounce the kids dead. The coroner had to do that. So if that's the case, why didn't she get there first? To pronounce them dead. I'm confused as to why the coroner does not come to the scene first. That's what I don't understand. Is this normal for the coroner not to come to the scene first? Who was saying something about it's normal for the coroner to come 4 or 5? All right, Alicia Mary Lee Richardson. Only if you are alive. When you die, digestion ends. Thank you, Alicia. I'm begging y'all to explain this because I'm telling you, biology is not I didn't like biology, cutting up frogs and stuff. And I just, I'd rather not. So I'm going to give you a shout out for knowing something about this, because I don't. So digestion ends when you die. So no matter how long it took the coroner to I don't know. The burger's supposed to still be in the stomach, even if she didn't finish it. Oh, I see you, Tetra. What you doing being late? I see your responses. It's all good. Listen, Cindy, this is great. Initially, Cindy Abbott, 10th daughter. Initially, I thought BK might have waived speedy trial for some of this publicity to die down, as we are in minority out here supporting him. I'm gonna give you a brain for that. And we got more than one Cindy, so I'm gonna just put Cindy A, okay? That's awesome. That's really awesome response. Now, think about what you're saying. Here's a guy he's acting like he used to be in jail, if you ask me. Or maybe he just got that drive, he got to fight his way out of this one. But let's think about that. Would you push your trial off? Well, is it working? Yes. To a certain extent, yeah. It is working. All right, shout out to Tell It to L. I see you creeping up. Shout out to Tell It to L. All right, then. Okay, good to see you. Now listen. What I'm saying is, would you do that if you, it is a strategy. Is it working? I would say yes. Because there are people that are losing interest, have lost interest in the case because it's not being solved fast enough. They don't want to do the long run. They don't want to do the long game. They want to know about the case, and then if it drags on too much, or you start talking about the technical stuff too much, they're out of there. They're viewing other cases, or viewing something that's got a little bit more sensationalism. But I wanna just ride this one out. All right. What's wrong? What y'all doing, L? I'll be like, please keep me alone. What y'all doing? All right, so where were we? Oh, we were talking about the food in Zala's stomach. Okay, and no, we were talking about the publicity. Well, there are people that are not so interested, and people that still comment on the case are saying stuff like, I'm tired of it. This is crazy and blah, blah, blah. They're watching it, but it's not with the same vim and vigor they had before, when we had some big clues and we were running stuff down, and the momentum was just like topping out. But it's still, don't you still want to know what happened to these kids? That's crazy. How you going to get tired of wanting to, know who did this to our kids, as a country, to our kids? How you get tired of wanting to know what's going on with that? I don't understand that one. All right. He also said, am I the only one arrested to me? That's a good point, Rosanna. What y'all think about that? Let's assume he did say that, because that's rumored. That's rumored. Let's assume he did say that. Why do you think Brian Coburger would say, was I the only one arrested? Why do you think that? What do you think? Why do you think he said that? Huh? Why would Brian Coburger say something like that? I'm going to see who can get a brain from this question. Why would Brian Coburger say, am I the only person arrested? I can think of a lot of different reasons why he would say it. And I'm not asking you if you believe it. I'm saying just hypothetically, if he did say it, what does that mean to you? What would you say? Why would he say that? Why would he say that? Right, right. The race is not given to the swift. You're right, Cindy. You gotta have patience. You're right. But I'm saying if he said that, I'm not saying he said it. I know that it's a rumor. Some of the people that's claiming that are shady. So I'm not saying it's written in stone. But if he said that, why would he say something like that? Why would he say something like that? All right, Rosanna, no, it's not everything stopped. Are you saying it's a little time on the digestion? Okay, no, it would not digest if she was killed at 3 in the morning and she was just finished eating. It just stays in the stomach. Okay, we're saying the same thing, yeah. Well, if digestion of meat takes 4 to 6 hours, or let's say it takes 3 to 5 hours, because I mean, what is it? Jack in the Box? Their hamburgers are not that tough. It's not like she ate some turkey meat off, out camping somewhere, or some deer, some beef, real beef, a hamburger and some bread. That's not real a big job, digestion job. But I feel like they wouldn't have to speculate as to whether Zana received a DoorDash at 4 o'clock. They saying this according to her phone data. They didn't say anything about stomach content. That's what the PCA says. All right. Let's see. Sometimes I wondered if the medical examiner was made to falsify any of the details of the autopsies. There were three officers present during the autopsies. All right. Shout out to One Made Nut. That's a great point. Because I mean, people don't want to believe that this stuff happens, but it does. It's called bureaucracy. She just told you she was reelected, and she was just smiling and happy and talking about how she's coming back for another 4-year term. How long do you get to be coroner? That's the first thing she was talking about in the interview, herself and her promotion. Nothing about these kids, about her promotion. And so that lets you know right there, she's not getting ready to give up her job. You know, be the person to stand up for righteousness and stand up for, it's the principle of the matter, No, it's not gonna be. That's not what it is. She just got reelected. She told you, and she came because she didn't come until 5:30 because of law enforcement. That's what she said. And so, I mean, that's probably pretty much what it is. Let's see. Do we know which officers were in the room? Was it Opie? Who was in there? What 3 officers were at the autopsy? Does anybody know? All right. Now, I want to talk about this traffic stop and something that I talked about in the members only live. All right. And I want to just take this minute to say thank you to everybody that rejoined this month. We got a lot of members that actually renewed their membership. And so thank you very much to everyone who has rejoined so far in September. I certainly appreciate it. If you see someone with yellow or red badge, that means they have rejoined. Okay, so kudos to you and thank you very much. Listen, this girl's stomach is one thing, but I want to talk about this traffic stop. All right, I don't know if it was in the members only live or whatever. Let me pull it up on the screen. I don't know if this was when okay, let me find. Oh, here it is. Okay, my bad. Okay, so I think we were talking about this in the members only, to where Britt, and I know it seems a little off topic, but Britt Coburger had two roommates, two male roommates, and I'm trying to change my screen because all this falls in together. If I could just make my point, I might take a little longer this time. Now listen. Oh, I got it backwards. Well, let me look on the desktop. I don't see it. But anyway, that's the evidence. It's a little backwards. But this is the evidence right here. Okay, it says Coburger lived with two 20-year-old boy students, which really adult students. When you're 20, you know, you're a young adult. I don't know why they said boy. I guess it was for impact. But my point is, Coburger and Ina Harsh and who is the third one? All these older guys and Brian, the two boys the two young men that lived with Coburger, they were of Idaho 4 victims' age. 20 years old. I mean, they're the same age as the Idaho 6. Everybody that lived at the house, including Ethan. So I'm wondering, while everybody's trying to put Bethany with Coburger, everybody's trying to put Bethany with Coburger, everybody's trying to put Bethany with this one or that one, why isn't anybody trying to put Bethany with one of those two 20-year-olds that live with Coburger? And why do we never talk about, I think one is Jordan Baker. Let me look at my notes. Nobody is talking about the two 20-year-olds that live with Coburger because he was old. He's older, you know. I don't think any of these girls, you know, wanted to date somebody like that when there was somebody their age right there in the apartment. So when we talk about who could have been at the house, who could have been over there doing whatever, selling drugs, selling food, whatever they were doing over there. Everybody, we had 3 unknown DNA at the scene. Well, there's 2 people right there. And I'm not just accusing them of being the killers. I'm just saying it's possible that they knew these kids, these victims. And so if they knew these victims, the connection would be to Coburger, but indirectly. Because it's not him, it's his roommates. Right? All right, now here's people answering the question. Tony Grant said he would say, was anybody else arrested, because he knows there were 2 witnesses at the very least. All right, shout out to Tony. I don't want to understand why you would say that. Why do you say that? Shout out to Tony Grant. But I'm saying, why would you say that? I don't understand why you would say that. Why 2 witnesses? And witnesses to what if he didn't do it? Witness to what? because I've been hearing that when Kopaka was assaulted with the weapons, his roommates weren't even in the apartment. The two 20-year-olds. And then just hours later, they were pulling Brian and his father over. I want to talk. I think we need to stop ignoring the two 20-year-olds that were in Kopaka's apartment, because either one of them could have been driving his car. Either one of them could have been using his phone. Either one of them could have been, what we think was Brent, it was one of them. Does that make sense what I'm saying? And it's like, their names are just nowhere. Nobody's talking about them. It's like they got a pass to where they're not only are they not suspects or being interrogated for having information, they're not even mentioned online. And when does that ever happen? When does that ever happen? Nobody even mentioned those two. Now, here's a question that I want to ask about the traffic stop. It seems to me that, and I said this, I made a video about the traffic stop. I can't remember the name of it. I have to go back and look. Maybe I put it on as a throwback, or I put the link in the chat. I mean, in the comments for this video right here. But I always said the reason they stopped Brian in Indiana, because they were tracking him since the 13th. Remember, they were getting info saying he was in Colorado on December the 13th. This was after, this was just before Kopaka was murdered or killed, or I would just say swatted. He was swatted on the 14th. Brian was already on the road. I don't think they realized Brian had left town. I believe they had good plans for him, and they didn't realize Brian was gone on his way home. So when they turned to look at him, he was gone, and they were tracking him from the 13th of December. That's only 6 days after the press release. They probably thought, well, we put his car on TV. A lot of people calling in, reporting that car. And so he's fleeing. He's on the run. And so whether he's fleeing or not, we need to see his hands. We need to see his neck. Because they said Xana's fingers were severed, almost severed completely. She fought so hard. All right? And so the killers, unless their necks were covered, I just don't see them not having any scars on their body. I don't see it. But I always said, when they stopped Brian in Indiana, and Crime Circus put out a really good video talking about how as soon as Kopaka was swatted, they turned around hours later, popped up in Indiana looking for Brian. And that stayed with me and made me think there has to be a connection between Brian and this guy. There has to be. Because it's true. But he's got two roommates. What about them? What about them? Think about it. We got a victim in Pullman that was swatted with two survivors. And then we got 4 victims in Moscow with what? 2 survivors. So we got 2 male survivors, 20-year-olds in Pullman. And we got 2 female survivors, 20-year-olds in Moscow. You understand what I'm saying? When you look at it like that, it's like you have to consider Pullman in this. You have to. Somebody said they heard that Bethany was driving around in Pullman and she got a ticket. She could have been driving anybody's car. She could have been driving her own car. She could have been driving one of these guys' cars. If it's true, I'm saying I don't have any evidence behind that. But I'm just saying, how do you ignore the two people that survivors over there in Pullman, but we won't give Dylan and Bethany a break? I mean, they're gonna be under the microscope until the last day of the trial. Nobody is giving them a pass. Nobody. I don't care who's saying don't victim shame and these girls been traumatized and all that. Right there in the back of their minds, everybody is still looking at Bethany and Dylan like your story is not adding up. So if that's the case, why do these two that live with Coburger, why aren't we looking at them, if for nothing else, information? What do they know? If there's a connection between Coburger and Brian, they 9 times out of 10, they all know each other. If Coburger knew Brian, the two 20-year-olds knew Brian. Does that make sense? I mean, they going back and forth between each other's apartment. If Brian was at Coburger's apartment on multiple occasions, like a lot of people are swearing he did, according to phone pings and all kinds of different fantasies. If he knew Brent, he knew those two 20-year-olds too, is what I'm saying. So why are these survivors over there, they just happen to be out of harm's way when Coburger got gunned down? They just happen to be out of harm's way. Because somebody told me they weren't even in the apartment. That's very convenient. We can't give anybody a pass. We're looking for answers, right? And so I'm not saying we need to knock on the door and accuse these two of murdering anybody. I'm just saying, who are they? Who are they connected to? Can we find a connection between Coburger and Brian through them? We don't have to connect Brian and Coburger directly if we can't do it. Can we get a connection in between them, two in the middle? Does that make sense? Which is what I'm saying. It's just too much survivor. Just survivors of, this man is a veteran. They gunned him down, and if his roommates would have been in there, maybe they would have got it too. Yeah. I'm just saying, what made nut? That's what I heard Darren Duncan say, that Brent's brother said. Okay, what did Shadow, what did they say? I missed it. I missed it in the comments. What did Darren Duncan say? Because I'm serious. We got two girls over here getting tattoos, and then this man got squatted right in the middle of this mess, and his roommates are fine. You see what I'm saying? Deborah Metzger. What's up, Deborah? Good to see you. Shout out to Deborah M. All right? I'm just saying. We keep saying Quinn and Enid and all these people. What about these two? Because if anything, since they so protected, we don't hear anything. I'm thinking maybe they've been hushed, and maybe they know something, and we'll never find that out before the trial. But at least we'll get at least we'll know who they are, and we can do our own family tree, our own Idaho 4-crime family tree, and see if it's a connection between them that connects Brian to Brent. Tell it, I heard Bethany engaged out here in Cali. Yeah, I'm hearing that too. I'm hearing that too. Shout out to Elle. I'm hearing that too. But you know, life goes on. You know, that's how you know she wasn't in the house if she's engaged right now. We haven't even had the trial yet. Unless it's some money girl out there saying, hey, Bethany gonna be famous for the rest of her life. As somebody that escaped the quadruple murder. Let me hurry up and make her my wife. You know, that could be the case. But either way, she's got to be in the mindset to be willing to date, even if that's why the guys are coming at her. She got to have a mindset to be willing to date and romance in the middle of all of this. And she might have to get on the stand and cry and act traumatized, you know? Hold off on the wedding. You can have a wedding during this quadruple. That's scandalous. What if they have a wedding right here in the middle of the proceedings and in the middle of the trial? Bethany is getting married. Boy, that'll be scandalous. And then she got to get in there and say, you know, I haven't slept since I saw what I saw. When I saw it, I haven't been able to sleep. You know how you have to get up there and tell how you've been traumatized so they can really give this guy the death penalty. I've been to counseling. My family sent me to counseling. It hasn't worked. I haven't slept. My hand shakes when I'm trying to do my homework. I still have visions of this in the back of my mind. I'm really living those horrible things that happened and how close I was to the intruder, how I almost lost my life. That's when you clutch your pearls. I almost lost my life. I almost died. I'm a victim too. She got to do all that in court. But, I mean, Ann Taylor be like, well, she ain't doing too bad. She tatted up and she just got married. You know? Maybe that's why. Another reason, Ann Taylor got something on Bethany. People saying she doesn't. I believe she does. The more I hear about Bethany after the case, the more I believe it. I believe Bethany might have been in California with whoever she engaged to right now when all this happened. When you think about it, she might have been in Cali. She might have been in Cali. What's up? She might have been in Cali. I don't believe she was in that house, especially if she get married. Come on now. We had to put up with the tattoos, and now you're telling me about a wedding. That's not a good look for people that's supposed to be traumatized. That's not a good look. That's not a good look. And then to tell people, shout out to Blah. What's up, Blah? Listen, that's not a good look. You're supposed to still be traumatized. And that goes back to, I think it was Audacious' point, that Brian might have delayed the trial so all this could come out. You see? I'm just saying. A wedding in the middle of a quadruple murder trial and you were in the house? You were in the house when this happened? And you get married? That's ridiculous. That's crazy. I have heard it all now. You get married in the middle of we haven't even had the trial yet. To where you have to testify. That's scandalous. I hope that's not true. I mean, I hope she got somebody that, you know, somebody that can really be supportive of her, especially emotionally, I mean. I'm happy for her for that reason. But other than that, that's crazy. That's crazy now. That's some craziness right there. Moscow is a quiet little town that they try to tell people they are. That's American Princess. Shout out to AP. All right. All right. Well, we know it's a lot going on. I mean, they act like it's no big deal. As a matter of fact, that's what all the attorneys Prosecuting attorneys keep saying it's no big deal, it's no big deal. You know, I wouldn't even let those words come out of my mouth when 4 people lost their lives. And you on TV, you don't even have no business using those words. Words like no big deal. You shouldn't even have that nowhere in your vocabulary. It should be nowhere in your repertoire that you would say the words no big deal and you're an attorney commenting on a quadruple murder case. Come on now. That's a little too lackadaisical. How is it not a big deal? You know? How is it not a big deal that these people sent the DNA 2 or 3 different places? And then it's not even so much that they sent the DNA out of different places. It's the fact that y'all lied to us and said everything jumped off right there at the Idaho State Lab. Y'all didn't put us down on these other places the DNA went, and then all of a sudden you sprung it on us. That's the problem. How you told it to us, how you laid it on us, that's the problem. Huh? This is the first I'm hearing of those 2 roommate survivors in the Coburger case. Yep, it's a shout out to Rosanna. Let me tell you what I thought. I thought his roommates were female until I read a couple of posts over in Reddit Quora. I knew he had roommates, but I thought they were females. I didn't know they were 2 male roommates until much later on. So I was in the dark about the gender, but I thought those 2 guys were females. And then when I said, what? Coburger had 2 male roommates, 20-year-olds? You know, I know he probably was on disability if he had PTSD. People keep saying he was a security guard. If he had PTSD and he was on disability, he probably didn't have a job. I mean, people on disability don't work. How could he be a security guard if he was on disability for PTSD? Those don't even go together. Come on now. Come on. Are we making sense here? We're gonna have to go back to the drawing board on some of this stuff. Because stuff we thought before, we believed it at the beginning, but we have information out to where we know it's not true. We have to scratch it off the list. We have to scratch it off the list. If Coburger was a veteran with PTSD, he was getting disability and he was probably getting some kind of payment from the military. If he was diagnosed with PTSD, he qualified for more than disability, most likely. You know, a veteran. So he didn't have to work. He didn't have a job if he was on disability. People on disability not supposed to be working. All right, shout out to Q's Bill in the house. Right on, hard truth. $5 super chat with Q's Bill. Thank you so much. Y'all are wonderful people. Thank you, Q's Bill. That's right. I'm telling the truth tonight. Stop lying. How can he be a security guard? If he was on disability, he didn't have a job. He was home playing Xbox every day or PlayStation. He didn't have a job. We searched and wrote to WSU and stuff. And I've seen the letters come back and they confirmed that Coburger did not work at that school. I seen the letters where they wrote back and said, with digital time stamps and letterhead, where they said he's not an employee here. All right? Oh, okay. Shout out to Q's Bill. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. I got you right here, Q. It's going down. It's going down. I'm just saying. How can you be on disability? Stop looking for, stop telling people Coburger worked for one of these schools. That man was on disability. He didn't have a job 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, he didn't have to be on no job. He didn't have to be on any job. He was on disability. So why we walk around telling people this man was a security guard? That's not right. That's not even right. Listen, if we got 64 people in here, 65, and we only have 51 likes, so I'm really asking you, if you haven't liked the video, if you would take the time to like it, so it'll look, a little nicer in the stats or whatever. I'm not sure why we're doing it, but I guess it's a good thing. All right, thank you so much. All right, and so I bet them could talk him into anything, yeah? Well, Indigo Moon, shout out to Indigo Moon. Good to see you. So good to see you. All right. Shout out to Indigo. All right, let's see. Everyone has been wondering why one has heard from the two roommates. Which two roommates, American Princess? Tell it to Elle. I think Bethany was at the home and she hasn't spoke to her so-called friends since in Moscow. You think that Bethany was at the house? That's what you're saying, Elle? You saying you believe that Bethany was at the house during the crime? That's what you're saying. AF, young people are not good liars. They really aren't. They really aren't, AF. And some of these grown folks are terrible liars too. I don't know they know better than the young ones. Because it's hard to tell a lie and for it to, if it stick, it only stick for a little while and then it starts sliding off the wall. So I mean, the stuff that Bethany and Dylan told police, we might never know. Because everything that's in the papers, that's what the police are telling us happened. It's nobody's statement. They're giving us the narrative they want us to have. And so, I mean, they're doing what they have to do, but we have to do what we have to do and say, hey, that's not right what you're saying right there now. We don't believe that one. We understand you got to stretch some of this stuff to make it work in the public, but that's stretching a little too far. Okay? That's you just broke the rubber band when you stretched it that far. That's crossing the line. Even for mainstream media, some of it. But anyway, there were two young men, and on the subject of what AF said, young people are not good liars. The two roommates, the two boys, they could have been the ones that swatted Coburger. The same two that was living with him. Right? That could have been a big lie. That could have been a big lie that he was in there acting crazy and threatening people. Maybe the roommates told the police that and then got out of the way. What you think about that, huh? Maybe the two young boys are the ones that got Coburger swatted in the first place. It's possible. I said maybe. Don't go telling people. I said that Coburger's roommates are the murderers. We're speculating here. All right? Everybody is a suspect in that area. Because it doesn't seem to be any motive, a sensible motive, something logical, not sensible, logical. I'm not going to say sensible because there is no sensible motive for what they did. But it's obviously more than one person. What are some of the DNAs, did they DNA tested Coburger's two roommates? Did they test them for DNA? Coburger and his two roommates, that's 3 people right there. 3 unknown sources of DNA, that's 3 people right there. Coburger and his 2 roommates. That's 3 people right there. Maybe they were there speculating too. I'm just saying these two young men. Everybody talk about the frat. What about these two? They're the same age, 20. What about these two? You know they knew what was going on. They have to have some information. But I believe if Brent Coburger and Brian Coburger knew each other, there could be a connection between them that we can find from these 2 roommates if we go back far enough. That might be the key. Because if they knew each other, then these 2 20-year-olds knew Brian. They knew him. Hey, they could have called the SWAT and turned Brian in and say, hey, y'all going to jail anyway. So we're gonna tell on y'all before y'all get us in trouble. You know? I know that's wild theories, but I'm just saying we had wild theories about Moscow. We had wild theories about Eden, Quinn. We done named every 20 to 25-year-old we can think of that might have had something to do with this. We've done it. And so why are these two so much in the backdrop? Because they sure make three. And I can't see any of the girls at the at 1122 King Road dating Brett Kopaka. I mean, his military picture that was from back in the day. Kopaka didn't look like that in 2022. So I don't see these young kids been attracting him because he was clearly older. Clearly older. He looked older than Brian and Enid. And so, but his two roommates, they were good looking guys. That's a reason for Bethany and Dylan to be over there in Pullman. If these two 20-year-olds were, part of the in crowd or nice looking guys, popular or whatever on the campus, if I'm not mistaken, they are students. That's why I want to be careful what I say. I got one name, but I'm not gonna put it out here. As a matter of fact, we need to give them some nicknames because these guys are too young. They're not in the spotlight yet. They're not in the PCA. So I'm not gonna just start throwing their names around like we do Dylan and Bethany because those two survivors, they're telling us more and more every day that hey, that's not what it is. But these two, they haven't really been in the media too much, and I don't want to make their lives a living hell for broadcasting something that's just speculation and turn everybody to them. So we'll give them two nicknames. Y'all can come up with two names for them. So instead of calling their name, even if you know it, just call them by a nickname. All right, let's see. I am up researching night after night to 3 and wonder how did someone actually do this to them. You right, Elle. Shout out to Elle and American Princess. All right? You right. You right. You right. I wonder too because, I mean, to go and take somebody's kid's life, I just, a kid or a senior citizen, either one. I don't care what age the kid is, and I don't care how old the senior citizen is. You shouldn't be messing with them. Leave kids alone and leave senior citizens alone. Please, just leave them alone. Elle and America. Lord have mercy. Let me get back on my computer. I can't even hardly see. Hold on. Well, that's one theory. We can move on to our next topic now. I just feel like all of this flows together, and nobody's exempt. These two guys, if the only thing I really want to investigate about them is whether or not they knew Brian Coburger. This is what I want to know. And so I'm going to be looking for that. Because everybody's been trying to link Brian and Kopaka together. And somebody said, that's a big coincidence that both of them lived in Pennsylvania so close together. And now they're across the country living within a mile or two of each other. That's a big, big, big coincidence they have to swallow. But we have to have proof. We can't just say, oh, well, they knew each other. We can't do that. All right? I'm just saying. Now, at the traffic stop, Kopaka is no longer with us. Brian has been on the road with his dad since December the 13th, or even the 12th he left, because he was already in Colorado on the 13th. I don't know how long it takes to get from Moscow to Colorado, but if he was in Colorado on the 13th, they could have left Washington December the 12th, as early as the 12th. And to me, that means that when he left, he didn't consider himself a suspect. I'm going to make a poll on that one. I want to know what you think about this. Think about what I'm saying. I'm going to make it real simple. I want to know what you think about this. Because he left all his property, right, in his apartment. And so, let me write this out right quick. And think about it. Think about what the person said about him saying, what did he say? Think about if he said, am I the only one they arrested? Think about that. Okay, think about that. Now here's the poll. When BK left for Pennsylvania, did he know he was a suspect? Yes or no? Huh? Okay, all his belongings were in his apartment, but he could have left that there as a front, right? He didn't want to alarm somebody like he was fleeing. Maybe he was scared to pack his stuff. Valentina Dallas. Sorry, I'm driving. I wish I could stay longer right now, but I got to get back to driving. Love you. Keep spreading the truth. Shout out to Valentina. Let's show some love. You drive carefully and get off of that phone or whatever you're using to talk. We don't want you to get in trouble or have an accident. We love you too, though. We love you, but don't. If you drive and you stop this, please. I don't want no hear no bad news. We can wait till you get where you're going. All right. So, has everybody voted? I'm trying to give Valentina a shout out. Has everybody voted? Did he know when he left Pullman? 62% no. Wow. I would say, if I had to make up my mind one way or the other, I would say he didn't suspect that he was a suspect. He had no clue. His car was filthy when they pulled him over. It didn't look like somebody that ran and washed it. Because let me point something out to you about that. When we say that his car was filthy, what do people say on the prosecution side? Oh, he could have washed it. He had a whole month. Ha, ha, ha. Well, let me tell you something about that. Even if he washed it after the murder, listen to what I'm saying. Even if he washed his car right after the murder, he was dumb enough to drive his own car to a crime scene. Even if he did that, when Moscow police, listen to what I'm saying. When Moscow police put that picture of his car on a stock photo of his car on TV, don't you think he would have washed his car again? Don't you think he would have washed his car again? Think about it. You the killer. And after the crime, you went somewhere and you washed some moth flying in here around my circle light. I'm going to have to get something spray. I hate moths. Okay, well, if you're the killer, let's say you're the killer. You came out of the house and you got away. when at some point in the following day or two, you cleaned your car. You cleaned it real good, right? This is in November that I'm talking about. Just pretend you're the killer, and you wash your car, vacuum out maybe a couple times in November. Now, if you turn on your TV and you see your car as the suspect vehicle on TV, I'm talking about your exact car, not just the model but the color. When you get paranoid and go wash your car again, when you do that, seeing his car on the news did not cause him to go wash his car, because that car was so dirty. There's no way that between December the 7th and December the 12th he washed that car. It had old caked on dirt on it. Right, Andy Ruler, heck yeah, military payment. So Ryan says she get $500 a month. His injuries, exactly. I'll give you a brain, Annie. I ain't gave out a brain in a minute. Y'all, come on. Talk to me. I'm saying the same thing. All right, you know some people done fell asleep. That's part of it, because people email me the next day after live. I fell asleep in your live. But you telling me I'm boring. Listen, if you fell asleep, don't tell me. Don't email me and tell me you fell asleep, because basically you telling me my live was boring. Okay, some people was, tired from work. They were going to fall asleep regardless, but I'm just saying. I'm like, wow, I was that boring that I felt that you fell asleep. Well, at least you can watch your replay. At least that we have that option. All right, listen. All right, so the people who said yes, they believe that Brian knew he was a suspect when he left Pullman. Please tell us why in the chat so we can understand. All right? Please explain why. I would like to know what makes you think that Brian knew he was a suspect when he got in the car with his daddy and left. That he had that feeling maybe that he was a suspect. I know some people might say that because of how the professor was carrying on and they were investigating him at the school. That's one reason why he might have known, I agree. That is one reason why he might have known. But it just don't seem so. I could be wrong, but all right. Where are we? Okay, Annie Rule, I'm supposed to be giving you a shout out. And Annie's talking about how much money you get in the military if you're disabled. Even if it's a small disability, or less severe, I should say, not small, less severe. Then Coburger 9 times out of 10 didn't have a job. I didn't know you could work and be on disability. I know they tell you that, but I don't believe that's true. Right? Valentina, did I give you your shout out? Yeah. All right. And who was after that? L, and Annie. All right. Annie Ruler and L. Shout out to Annie Ruler and L. Okay. Well, did we ever finish the question about why Brian Coburger would say, are there any other suspects, or was anybody else arrested? Did we finish that one? I'm going to have to go back through this and listen, because I thought we did. Okay? I just feel like Pullman and Washington seem to be just connected in so many ways. It just, and then it's just so odd that we can't prove it still To this day, we're still trying to prove it. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. All right, let's see. Y'all get, all right. Shout out to Busted Flush. Shout out to Busted Flush. What's up, Busted? Well, I don't know about that. I just feel like let's see. Valentina Dallas. Also, I am firmly believing the first leak audio is real Ethan screams. Brent K. And let's not forget Xana's sister goes to WSU. Did you read the Facebook post by Brian's sister? Definitely close to the truth. Okay, let's not forget Xana. Okay, Xana's sister goes to WSU. All right, shout out to Valentina. Why you say it's Ethan screams? Why you say it's Ethan screams? Huh? And let's see, Annie Ruler. Let me go back a little bit. Okay. Camera guy's name is out in public. And Taylor needs to interview him. What do you think that black bag is in backseat of undercover guys? All right. Shout out to Annie. All right. Let's see. All right. We got some good posts here. All right. Valentina. Also, I am firmly believing the first leak audio. We did that. Okay. Cindy Abbott. I think DM swatted Brent. Why you think that, Blah? Why you think why you think DM swatted Brent? You, what about the two guys, the roommates? Huh? I don't know about that. I can't say one way or the other. All right. Busted Flush Fox News showed that perimeter expand in dirt area kind of blood color, Annie Ruler. Oh yeah? I hadn't heard that either. He remembered Jack D. Let me go back. All right, so Annie Ruler, I'm late, Mom, so much happy, but she didn't live through this era. Yeah, I know, right? Shout out to Cindy Abbott. Yep, that's true. I'm gonna put Cindy A. All right. Now, I believe that once Brian got on the road with his dad, it didn't really seem like they were thinking they were in trouble in any way when they got pulled over. Did you get that same vibe? It didn't seem like either Brian or his dad were acting like they had, a big murder on their hands. He just didn't. I mean, he acted irritated, but it seemed like he was surprised, and especially that he's pulled over twice and stuff. I don't think Brian and his dad were acting surprised. And then don't you think? Here's a good one. Ooh, I got it for you tonight. Here's another one. I don't know, this thing is taking a minute to load up. Let me do it this way. Or you can't do text poll on there. Well, do you think if Brian did the murders or was involved, don't you think he would have told his daddy while they was riding home to Pennsylvania? Don't you think Mr. Coburger would have known something was wrong with his son? You know, and don't you think Brian maybe would have confided in his dad, asked him what should he do? Should he turn himself in and stuff? It don't seem to me like they were acting like they had that knowledge between them. I just didn't get that. I didn't get that vibe. I didn't. Trying to turn this off. Well, one thing is for sure. Another thing I don't understand, and maybe y'all can help me with this, is why I just lost my train of thought. You know, why if all this happened the way they said it did, okay? And we have several different accounts. You know, I just don't understand if everything happened the way that it did, exactly the way the PCA is saying, we're not giving any room for lies. Okay, we're assuming that everything is true in there. You know, that would implicate so many other people. It's a shame. Because somebody has to know where Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen were, regardless of what they say they were. Other people have to know. They know whether when they got to the house, you know, Bethany was dressed in her pajamas and still home or whatever, or if she had been outdoors. It was cold. So when they came back, when everybody started, you know, congregating at the house, did Bethany, was she dressed to be outside, or did she have on pajamas or clothes for somebody that was at home? You could tell whether she had been in the house. I mean, we're not stupid. These are just small, simple facts that'll tell us the truth if we just can get the truth in these reports. How was Bethany dressed when everybody was crowded at the house? It was spectators there at the house when they were calling 911. They can tell us what Bethany had on. And if Bethany was dressed with boots and a coat or warm clothes, we know she wasn't there during no murders. But when everybody was congregating and stuff, if they had just woke up, Bethany and Dylan should have been in the house in their pajamas or whatever they sleep in. That's just common sense. That's just common sense. And so whoever showed up to the scene, as far as that concerned, Eden and all those people were out on that balcony watching what was going on when the police, so many police cars, they were there. So what did Bethany and Dylan have on when all these people in the house calling 911? Did they have on pajamas or were they fully dressed? Were they fully dressed with a coat on like they just came in the house from off the street like everybody else? Did they have on shorts in the house because it was warm in there, you know? Not like outside? I'm going to tell you another reason I know why Bethany and Dylan were not in that cotton picking house. It's because the neighbors and a lot of people that passed by said the same thing. The front door was open until about 8:30 in the morning. And so all that cold air coming in the house, 8:30 in the morning, I mean, to me, they were trying to tamper with the time of death. That's why they left the door open, I believe. To let the cold air in and just, I mean, I don't think that was an accident. But why? I'm losing my train of thought. I'm losing my train of thought because The time of death is 11:58 because that's what time Kathy Mabel got there by her own admission. And so they said the front door was open until about 8:30. Multiple people have said this, not just one. And so how were Bethany and Dylan in the house asleep with all that cold air coming in until 8:30 in the morning? Let's say the killers left out of the house like the PCA said at 4:17. That means that front door was open for 4 hours. You know how cold it would have been in that house, and you mean to tell me Bethany and Dylan slept through all of that? Somebody here mentioned body temperature. You mean Dylan and Bethany slept through the front door being wide open with cold air, what was it, 29 degrees? And they slept through that. They went to sleep disturbed because they saw an intruder, but they slept good until about 11 o'clock, 11:30. Even though the door had been open. And who shut the door at 8:30? If the police weren't called until 11:58, who shut the door? Maybe that was the time that Bethany and Dylan was just getting home from wherever they were. Or maybe they never came back there until the police were called. Who shut the door? Who shut the door? Who shut the door? All right, shout out to Lady G, and I agree. I think they were already passed away. I really do. I don't believe anybody was still alive after about 3:30 at the latest. I just don't. I don't believe it. And I don't believe these girls were in the house with the heat coming through there. You know, how you going to do that? How is the door going to be open for at least 4 hours with cold air coming in and you sleeping and you went to sleep after you saw somebody in the house or around the house that wasn't supposed to be there, and then all this cold air coming in, that didn't wake you up. I mean, it's just getting I don't believe Bethany or Dylan was in their house when these crimes were committed. I just don't. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I believe that the prosecution is using them as witnesses. They need witnesses now because nobody believes Dylan anymore. And so here's another witness. But you know, it's a flip side to all of these strategies the prosecution is using. You stacking them up as witnesses, but they could be the ones to do you in. The jurors might believe it is Brian. Until you bring these two on, it makes absolutely no sense. What do you think about that? Someone said Annie Ruler. Someone said regarding Ethan Knight. Someone said there was a pic of ST Dad appearing inappropriately touching his thighs. He may have snapped. Oh my goodness, I don't know what you're talking about on that one, Annie. But shout out anyway. I'm not sure what you mean on that. All right. Tetra. I heard Kopaka lived close to BK when he was growing up. Then Kopaka landed up living near BK when BK moved to Pullman. It's true. They showed the town and everything. Tetra. Shout out to Tetra. It's true. He did live very close to him. I think when he was at the sales, they were within minutes of each other there. That's too much of a coincidence. That's too much of a coincidence. I I mean, it's possibly a coincidence, but that's a big coincidence. That's a big coincidence. And then he had 2 roommates. It should not be a problem for us to find out if Brent and Brian knew each other, if we knew where the roommates were from. Because if they are from Pennsylvania, wait a minute now. If the 2 that live with Brent Coburger, if they are from Pennsylvania, either one of them, let's more both of them, we might as well close the book on that. They knew each other. Maybe all of them decided to come to Washington at the same time, you know. And then Kopaka had people, his parents or somebody living in Idaho. He had a reason to be over there. But Brian didn't know anybody over there. So maybe Brent is the one that told him, hey man, come over here to WSU or U of I. Because Brent had family living there. Brian, as far as I know, they don't have family over there on the West Coast like that. What you say about that? All right, let's get somebody else. Q's Bill. I think they created a false flag to take out Brent. All right, shout out to Q's Bill. That's interesting. That's very interesting because I just feel uneasy that this happened when the roommates were not there. Looked to me like he would have a psychotic break when there's somebody there to have a psychotic break on. Why would he be in there tripping by himself? I mean, hallucinating. If he was in there by himself, how was he threatening his roommates? Calling them, texting them, yelling at them through the door or what? I don't know. If either one of those 2 roommates is from Pennsylvania, then Brian and Kopaka knew each other. That's my conclusion. If either one of those 2 that live with Brent, you see what I'm saying? Then that means all of them were homeboys. All of them, because Brent lived a lot of different places. But if those 2 boys that were his roommates, the 2 young men, are from Pennsylvania, you can't tell me Brent and BK didn't know each other. You can't tell me that. But who knows? I mean, I'm digging. I want to know. I mean, if I could make that link, I think that'd be big progress for us. Because if either one of those 2 are from Pennsylvania, I mean, the probability of all 4 of them being from Pennsylvania, the probability of them not knowing each other and 2 of them and 3 of them live together is the probability of them not knowing each other is so small. I would go ahead and say they know each other. So maybe I can let y'all know that next week after I finish my investigation, because those 2 boys are a source of information and we never talk about them. We never talk about them. Tell it to L, I understand snapping, but attending this slang. Just watch timeline on Chaos Sector with audio. Cindy Abbott, and how can we dismiss Maddie? I told Adam everything. Mel says, ew, they're gonna get you for that. Hours later, she's gone. All right, shout out to Cindy. Cindy A. Right. That's right. Because if we bring Maddie into this, you know, for all we know, the 2 guys that live with Brent could have been at the grub truck and the corner club. We don't know who to look for on the camera. We don't know. All right. Half pint. BK didn't do it. All right. What's going on, South Africa? What's going on, Scotland? UK? Let's do it. Let's do it. Shout out to Cricket Moon and Half Pint. All right, let's do it. Brian didn't do it. Well, that's that's the general opinion in a lot of these chats. You know, I mean, way back in June, I was seeing people saying that weren't saying it in January. I think Adam is a different Adam. Tell it to L. Cricket Moon, they're gonna get you guys for this. It's an insult. AF, notice how Steve G says you're not going to come here to hunt hillbillies. What? When did he say that? When did he say that, AF? What was he meaning when he said that? Steve and his wife, I mean, I understand they're going through something, and I didn't think Mr. G was gonna make it for a minute. In some of those interviews, he was almost gonna break down on a lot. I mean, in the beginning he was cracking. I didn't know if he was gonna make it through to see anybody brought to justice, but that's not the case now because he's saying all kinds of strange things. I find it strange that him and his wife are doing so much talking. Because, I mean, I guess it would feel a little bit more normal if the other families were doing the same thing. Okay, they all feeling the pain the same way and they need to vent and whatever. But Mr. and Mrs. G and the sister, they're the only ones doing the talking. I haven't heard of, I think Ethan's parents made maybe one interview. But I have not seen even Maddie's family come out and hold hands with the G's and sing the same songs they sing. They're not doing it. And then to say that Kaylee was trapped under Maddie and she was trying to get out. I mean, if I was the Mogans, I wouldn't even fool with nobody after that. Hey, both our kids passed, man. It don't matter who was on top of who or whatever. Nobody was getting out of that house alive. And so, and then people been arguing with me about whether Kaylee, I told them I didn't believe Kaylee would leave Maddie in there. And I still don't. Oh, she had a right to fight for her life. Of course she did. I'm not saying she didn't. I'm just saying those two were joined at the hip. They were best friends for real. Some of these people that you claim is your best friend is just somebody that's in your business all the time. You telling them your business. But that doesn't make them your best friend. Kaylee and Maddie were best friends. Sisters. I mean, almost Siamese twins. They were stuck at the hip so much. And so everything probably happened real fast. When you stabbing somebody, you know, it's quick. And so, I mean, it had to register her to them that they were being attacked, whoever was awake, both of them. And then it had to register that one of them has probably been killed or is being killed. And then it's registered that you're being attacked and you're fighting. And then once they leave you for dead, you're not going to be trying to get up and get out of there. Kaylee would have been shaking Maddie. Maddie, wake up. And in denial, listen, somebody going to come help us. You know, you ever seen in the movies where people commit a crime? And let's say it's three guys go in the house and commit a crime. And then when they're running away, one of them gets shot. And then the other two, one of them is holding the one that got shot, and the other one saying, come on, man, we got to go. We got to go. The cops coming. And the other guy in the crew actually cared about the dude, and he's down there, telling him wake up, or he's in shock, just calling his name, can't believe he's dead. He actually got killed. Lo and behold, somebody shot him, and y'all just robbed their home or their business. People go through all kinds of different emotions when they're being attacked, and it's fight or flight is one response. But when you're there with a loved one, your mama or your daddy, and you see somebody that took them out with a knife, and you got knife wounds all over you, you're going to grieve for your parent first. Your first instinct is not going to jet out of there. It's going to be, you're going to be shaking your parent like, are they really dead, first of all? And all this stuff is going very fast. So why would somebody get out here and say, well, my daughter was trapped under your daughter. She was trying to escape. That just blew my mind. That just blew my mind that this would even be discussed. And then everybody got mad at me for my opinion. To me, it should have been said. Okay, it's a free country. You can say what you want. But I'm just saying, the implications of that. And then you told us that y'all families are so close. So, in my opinion, maybe the G's and the Morgans are arguing back and forth behind closed doors. And then Mr. G came out and said that, for spite, like, well, we ain't down together in this. It's us against them, or every man for himself, so it don't matter what I say. Maybe they arguing back and forth in private, and that's why he said that. But to just imply that maybe your daughter could have got out of there, maybe he wasn't saying, but I mean, when you use the word escape, you saying there was some hope that your daughter was going to get out of there. There was never no hope that Kaylee was getting out of that house. There was never hope. There was never hope. There was never hope. Come on now. The parents are very sure BK did it. Well, let me think about that. I guess the parents are supposed to believe whatever the police tell them, unless it's proven otherwise, right? Isn't that how it goes? If you're the victim's family, are you supposed? Is it proper etiquette to just believe what the police tell you? Is it considered disrespectful or what you call it, improper or whatever to doubt what the police tell you happened to your loved one? I mean, is it proper etiquette to just believe what the police tell you about the case until whatever? Is that normal? Steve was victim blaming Blah. All right, shout out to Blah. I think that's what it is. That's what's bothering me, Blah. Why would you say anything like somebody could, and then use the word escape? Like putting it in the minds, maybe that's what the devil telling him. Your daughter could have got out of there, but it was Maddie holding her down, and then she was down there to show your daughter the truck to show Maddie the truck. They say Maddie flushed the drugs. Your daughter could have got out of that room. It's all Maddie's fault. That's probably how the devil talking to Mr. G. And then he's like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that is right. Because he's about losing his grip because he lost his daughter. So I don't think his mind right now. I don't think Mr. G mind is right now. I think has slipped into another plane, another dimension, and perhaps he will return to normalcy after all this is over, or after somebody done had to pay the price. But right now, this stuff him and his wife saying and doing is illogical. So I think maybe they just really need some counseling, really need a psychotherapist, really need some medication and some time off from work. For real. They need all that. because they rolling a little too hard, and it's like they reaching for some understanding from everybody, from the world, from the media, from somebody. And hey, I understand that. To me, that's the human side of them. But still, the Mogans ain't said nothing. And you told us at the beginning that the Mogans, that Maddie was your second daughter. You know that Maddie was also your daughter, just like Kaylee. And so why would you say something like that? Why? Just to get the fire burning again and have everybody saying, oh, they said that, they said this. I mean, come on now. Let Kaylee rest in peace, please. I don't like that. And he cleaned the shoe print, but didn't tell the L just got a brain. You definitely got a brain for that. You definitely got a brain for that. I mean, that's excellent. Listen to this. She said, and he cleaned the shoe print, but didn't get the sheet. I don't think so, you know. Right. We know there was a cleanup because the print was latent. We know there was a cleanup. So whoever left the sheep, they left it on purpose. If there was a sheep left by the killers, it was left on purpose. Just like I said in my video, Maddie's coat. You know, if all this is going on, with people leaving coats on fire hydrants and running around with boxes 3 o'clock in the morning, if all this is going on, they meant to leave the sheep. They just didn't mean to leave it for Brian. That's what I'm saying. Whoever cleaned it up, they meant to leave that sheep. They meant to kill who they killed, and if they had time to clean up, they had to be able to say, well, they had to check around to see if they left anything else, not just a sheep. The gloves, you know, anything. It's just, that's a great comment. You know, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because, I mean, how can somebody spend that much time in the house? The dog is completely, neatly locked away in a room where no murder took place. If that's not planning, I don't know what is. And then on top of that, you know, there's something, and then they want us to believe the sheep was buried way down under Maddie. Here's my question. Here's the big question about the sheep. How did they produce a picture of that sheep up under Maddie, you know, for evidence or whatever? They want us to believe it was between Maddie and the comforter. And in my opinion, the reason they saying that is so they don't have to show us a picture of it in the crime scene photos. If they say the sheep was under Maddie, in between Maddie and the comforter, and you know there's blood around, they don't have to ever show us a picture of the sheep because it was under Maddie. First they said you could see it from the door. But then now they want to say, well, it was underneath Maddie, in between Maddie and the comforter. So if it was between Maddie and the comforter, if it was under her, you couldn't see that with the naked eye without moving the bodies. So that'll be their excuse next, that they're never gonna show a picture of that sheet up under Maddie or by Maddie. Because when people leave a calling card, they don't hide it. Sometimes they leave it on the dresser or at the front door. They left it on purpose, so we know it wasn't wedged somewhere where you can't see it if the killers meant to leave it as a calling card. So I'm telling you, the prosecution gonna have a lot of problems with this case, and they seeing that too. That's why they talking about somebody sick, because they seeing the fact that this is a lot of this is just not gonna walk, and Ann Taylor's not gonna rest. She gonna bring some stuff out to where people are gonna start doubting right away. That's why they didn't want that preliminary hearing. And that's why this hearing about the grand jury is private. They don't want any testimony to reach the public anytime soon, if ever. Make him take a plea. Do something. Make him hate his life and take himself out. Do something, but don't give the public any more than you have to, because they're gonna hold us accountable if you do. And we don't know who we got in custody now. We thought we knew. He in there holding his hands like Donald Trump. And by now, he's supposed to have had a nervous breakdown. They already probably say, hey, he already got mental issues. We see that from how he acting over here at WSU. We know he's OCD or ADD or BDB. Once we lock him up in a cell, he's gonna break down. He's gonna be a noodle. But that's not what happened. Because they're like, hey, this dude already got mental issues. There's nowhere in the world. Look at Coburger. He did lose it. But Brian didn't react like that. Huh? Talk to me. Q's Bill, you got somebody mad. These stories they're giving us are all a bunch of bull crap. BS Q's Bill. Shout out to Q's Bill. Okay, let's see. All right, let's make sure I got this right. It's different typing on the phone and the keyboard, because the keyboard doesn't autofill stuff for me, and I looking something crazy on there. Nothing I said. All right, shout out to Q's Bill. All right, K-Dub, feeling me. Shout out to K-Dub. I'm just telling you how I see it. If they could tell us that she pretty much, that's what they're stressing now. They're stressing that it was between Maddie and the comforter. First they said that they saw it was by the door. We didn't get that about it being wedged up under Maddie till later on, right? Am I right? I don't remember exactly, but if I'm not mistaken, they didn't tell us about the sheet being wedged between Maddie and the comforter until later on, right? That was so that they never have to produce a photo or a body cam of the sheet actually up under Maddie. They got enough bag in evidence. But as far as us seeing a policeman walk in with his body cam turned on and see a sheet up under Maddie, next to Maddie, somewhere, because I believe the PCA said it was next to Maddie at first. Let me look at the PCA. Let me pull up the PCA. Because if I'm not mistaken, the PCA said that the sheet was next to Maddie. And so now they're saying it was wedged up under her body. And so if it was wedged up under her between the comforter and Maddie, there's no way somebody just dropped it. Somebody had to put it there. And then after they put it there, I think I can share my screen. Okay, if they put it there, it was planted. They're never gonna produce. If they telling us now that it's not next to Maddie, it's under Maddie. If they change their story on that, they'll let you know we are never gonna see a body cam or picture, crime scene photo of that sheet. We never gonna see it nowhere but in the bag, in the evidence bag. That's the only place we're gonna see that sheet. It probably never been in the house. It's in the bag at the got a little blood on it or whatever. Okay, here's the PCA. I'm getting ready to look and see what the exact words were, because I know now. Yeah, laying on the bed next to Maddie's right side. Let me put this on the screen. Because now that they telling us, they told us that the sheet was laying on Maddie's. I'm reading it. I'm getting ready to put it on the screen. It says, I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather night sheet laying on the bed next to Morgan's right side when viewed from the door. And so now they're telling us it was wedged in between Maddie and the comforter. So the reason they changing that up is so they never have to show us a crime scene photo of that sheet. We never gonna get it. Who made that song? Never gonna get it. We never gonna see it. Ain't no use in waiting for no trial to see it, because you're not gonna see it. Now here's the PCA version. I got a clip here somewhere. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but here's the PCA version, the original PCA version. It says it was next to him, next to Maddie. Now, I'm going to go find the one where it says it's wedged in between the comforter and Maddie Morgan, if I can. All right? Now, all right, KTV. Everybody's saying the same thing. Here's the New York Post. I don't even have to open it. Now here's two different accounts of that. Okay, KTQV is saying exactly what the next release from the prosecution said. The sheet was face down, partially under Madison's body and partially under the bed's comforter. That's what they changed it to. Here it is right here. And so when they said that, what's that telling you? Because people kept saying, we want to see the crime scene photo. We want to see this sheet on the body cam. Nunez, they say he captured Murphy in the room. When he entered the room, he got Murphy on body cam. Well, who has the sheet on body cam? Because look at this. This is the New York Post, June 21st. This when they start changing up stuff and working for the grand jury. It says the sheet was found partially under the body of Madison Morgan, right alongside her. Madison Morgan, right, and Kayla Savage, were slain. So the sheet is a bunch of baloney, and we're never gonna see a crime scene photo of the sheet. That's my conclusion. All right, where's Rusty? I didn't even know Rusty was in here. Shout out to Rusty. I didn't see you. I'm sorry. Now you know we buddies, Rusty. I didn't even know you were in here. Shout out to Jane Blue. All right, Jane. I didn't even know you were in here. Now let's see. All right, I see Rusty. Peace out, Heart Truth. I gotta go back to work. All right, peace out, Rusty. I didn't even know you. I didn't see you, man. I'm slipping on my chat action. I gotta sharpen it, get it sharp. All right, Cricket Moon in Vogue. There you go. Shout out to Cricket Moon. You had me. Remember that song, Never Gonna Get It? We never gonna get the evidence. We never gonna get the evidence. I'm gonna play that song in a video. Anytime somebody talk to you about the sheep, just start singing that song. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Yeah, they put a fast one on us. That was in vogue. Yep. Yeah, he's at work. All right. I'm glad I caught it. I see it. Yeah, AF, they found the sheep later. Yeah, they said later about 15 times in this about 15 times in this PCA. Later, that's the big word. Later, later. All right, did I give Rusty a shout out? I give Rusty and AF a shout out. Even though he's at work, he might rewatch the end. He might watch it on replay. All right. Okay, and then let me see what else I missed right quick. Again, I'd be under that comforter if cut as I sleep on cold night. All right, shout out to Cindy A. Listen, that's a good response because I just don't believe if it's 21 degrees outside and my front door is open, it's gonna get real cold in there. You know, I don't know. I just don't see it. It's possible, I guess. I'm gonna get a charger, Cricket Moon. What are you talking? I take my music seriously, Cricket Moon. All right. Let me see. Let me go back a little bit. The wording is confusing. It sounded like maybe the other two could have been on there too. What y'all talking about, blah? Yeah, y'all got the song in vogue. Yeah. Never gonna get it. They don't even have to take down and record it. Jane Blue, please don't say that, Jane. Please don't tell me they don't have it recorded. You know, being slick, that's gonna cost them later on because they're gonna wish they had some kind of real evidence. Then you know this thing is falling apart. It's falling apart. How can you not? I mean, do they care? Do you think the prosecution cares one way or the other if they win? Huh? Do you think that the prosecution cares one way or the other if they win this case? Think about it. The kids are already back at school. You know, they've already convinced everybody there's not going to be any more murders. They done throw enough dirt on Brian Coburger to have him fighting his way back up for air for a while so they don't have to worry about him one way or the other. Does it even matter if they convict somebody at this point? Does it matter to them? Does it really matter? All right, it's 12:02. I feel pretty good. So I'm going to roll this for another 30 minutes. We're going to talk about whatever we want to talk about. And then at 12:30, I'm going to give y'all 10-minute window. All right, how about that? Okay, let's see where we're at. I'm not even sure when the DNA was left on the sheet. I'm sure it was somewhere, probably at MPD headquarters. The sheep probably never even entered the house. All they had to do was put a little blood on it. Especially if they did it after the fact. They had the space to do all of that. And they sure had enough time. They had all the time in the world to do these things. Yeah, I think Santa Claus has an I will win complex. You think so, Deborah? Shout out to Deborah M. Y'all think the prosecution think he gonna win? I don't know. If he's the one that's sick, you know, if he's the one that's ill or whatever they said in the article, whoever claiming they sick, if it's the prosecution, he must be realizing this gonna be a lot more than what he thought. He got a long record of plea deals. Mr. Thompson, he has a long history of plea deals, closing out cases with plea deals. But that's not what this is. He gonna have to come clean. I don't know. I'm sure he understand that. And they asked for more help early on. Remember, he was asking for more attorneys early on, and they just kept stacking on attorneys on both sides till each side got its own little dream team and really playing it up. But I don't mind them playing it up as long as you solve the case. Actually solve it. Don't just keep playing. We need a conviction of who did it. We need a conviction, is what I'm saying. Not just playing around and throwing us a piece of meat of news every now and then. That's what's been going on. We need answers. Tammy C. Shout out to Tammy C. It's been crazy, but at least some of the stuff was believable in the beginning. But right now, it's a bunch of foolishness going on. I think that's sad. I think that's really sad because people lost their lives. And to just sit up here and lie like this. And then think about how far back the conspiracy goes. Because the law enforcement was walking around trying to see if people sell a K-bar locally right there in Moscow. So if the sheet is a fake and somebody planted it, it had to be law enforcement. Because why would they be walking around? But then that's not necessarily true either. The people who did it, they could have left it as a calling card. And then law enforcement took it up as evidence for whoever they want to put it on. Then when they finally ran up on somebody, they put it on him. Okay, what do you think about that? Yep, oh my God. Had not thought of that. On location is how he saw it, but did not show up on film. What you mean by that, Andy? What y'all talking about? Andy Taylor's not going to roll with any plea deal. Oh no, QSB, I know she's not going for that. At least I hope not. Shout out to QSB. I hope not. I sure hope not. Let's see. Tammy C, why look for a car when you have no photo of it? The year wrong and license plate. What a sham. I'm going to give you a brain for that, Tammy. Shout out to Tammy C then. All right. That's true. You don't even have a picture of it. You know what they said the reason for that was, Tammy? They're claiming that the prosecution is withholding the surveillance videos as evidence for the trial, gag order, and they don't want to release this and that, making excuses for that stock photo. But I don't understand if this was the wrong year and everything, like you said, you know, you don't have a license plate. And then they had his information wrong in the computer at WSU. So when this crime happened, if they would have ran his tag and stuff, they would have known. Okay, let me show you how I just caught him in another lie, just for what you said. Okay, remember when the policeman in WSU stopped Brian, and when she called in his registration, it did not come back a Hyundai Elantra. That lady said a Hyundai, but it was another model. They had his car model wrong in the computer, right? And so she told the lady what it should be. But I imagine to change something like that, you know, some paperwork would have to be shuffled. So I'm thinking when this claim that the two officers called in his car and stuff, and it came back to him and his address and that car, it wouldn't have came back like that. It would have came back the way she said it, unless somebody fixed it in the computer. I would be interested to know if that was ever fixed. If the person who she called in his registration to. I would be interested to know if she changed it in the computer to a Hyundai Elantra. Because if she didn't, this claim that they was just, tiptoeing through the tulips and ran up on his car, parked in the parking lot of his apartment where it was supposed to be because he was at home. When they ran his car, it wouldn't have said what they said it said in the PCA because his car was in the system wrong in Washington. And so unless they fixed it before November 25th, that's another lie. That was another lie. Cindy Abbott. Robin, you're right. There's more questions as time goes on. That's why I think BK might have waived speedy trial. I would have if my life is at stake. Now that's a good comment, Cindy. I didn't catch Robin's. Let me go back and see if I can find it. All right, let's go back. All right. Here it is. Okay, Robin Latham. I remember in week 1, we were all saying with all these weird things going on, and it will stop. Never did. I think we'd be sitting here today saying the same thing 100 times. All right, I'm gonna give you a brain for that, Robin, because we basically saying the same thing. I mean, some of the stuff people say, I tell them, I said a brain. I tell them, you know what? I made a video on that months ago, saying the same thing already. Y'all coming to me, well, I saw on so-and-so's channel, she said today, they what? Man, you haven't been running with us from the beginning then. You haven't been with the Hard Truth channel long. Because if you've been watching these videos, you would know some of the stuff we already talked about. It's not big new news. It might be over there to that channel, but we already talked about that and put that piece in the puzzle somewhere. We have been saying the same thing 100 times, but in a way that's a good thing, because for a while there we got lost in a lot of different conspiracy theories, in my opinion. I mean, we were on Enid, and then we were on Coburger, and then we were on Brian again, and then we were on Quinn and Dylan, and then we were on, Emma Bailey and Demetria. I done heard it all, and then we just came full circle, and just some of that stuff just fell away because it didn't feel right. It didn't keep feeling right as the solution. We still weren't satisfied that we had the truth, right? So this is how things have happened. And we are saying the same thing over and over. But in a way, it's good because it's like we were right from the beginning. Our gut was right from the beginning. That's the way I see it. Y'all had the answers way back then, And then when you come in live and you put these comments and we put it together, we had the answers before. We knew the stuff that we know is a lie right now. We called it a lie. Y'all called it a lie back in January. No big deal, no big deal. And so, let's see. Rosanna, American prisons. Okay, isn't covered by the gag order for what I've learned. Rosanna Scott, I just want you to know that I follow you religiously on your program. I think you're down to earth, and that's important to me. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you, Roseanne. Oh, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. So sweet. All right, shout out to Roseanne. All right. Let's see, where was I? Where was I? Tabby C, I want to know how she was on right side of Maddie if she was said to be on outside of the bed. All right, what you mean outside of the bed? Let's see. Let me read it again. I want to know how the sheep was on the right side of Maddie if she is said to have been on the outside of the bed. Well, if you walk into Maddie's room, you facing the bed. Right, the bed is running horizontal in front of you when you walk into her room. And so if she was laying down on her right side, would be facing the side closest to the door. Now, as far as you saying outside the bed, I don't know about that. If she was outside the bed, that's just another lie we were told. I don't see how she could have been outside the bed if the sheet was under her, between her and the comforter. I guess I was assuming she was in the bed when they said comforter. Maybe that could be wrong. That could be wrong. That could just be an assumption. I don't know. Let's see. Drip Drop said there is no recorded interview. Who does not record that? All right, interview with what though? No recorded interview of who? Huh? Interview with who? All right, Robin Latham. Annie, ABD, it's like when people ask for things like that, someone says, sorry, we don't have that. And everyone surrounding the case acts like that's a normal answer, right? Like it's okay for you not to have evidence for your own case. Don't you know you had to have evidence to accuse this man, drag him out from his family, and put the whole, breaking those people, basically breaking those people's house? Now, come on now. You can't be doing all that. You're not supposed to be doing all that. Let's see. Kaylee against the wall and on top of her. Who? Okay. Did somebody say that Kaylee was? I think somebody did say Kaylee was on top of what you call it. I think Kaylee did say it. I think they did say Kaylee was on top of Maddie. So now, what is this mess about her being trapped? And why on earth would Mr. Genum say this? I just don't understand that one. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't want to be talking bad about nobody's parents that lost their kids, but Mrs. G has said some weird stuff, and some of it just don't make sense. Prosecution will let it go, not guilty, and wrap it up. You think so? Was Kaylee on top of Maddie? That's what I heard, Tammy. This is the impression I got from the stuff that I read was that Kaylee was actually on top of Maddie. You know how small that bed is? It's tiny. The whole room is tiny. And so as soon as you walk in, 1, 2, bam, you ran into the bed. You ain't got 3 steps. And the bed is a small twin. It's not a full twin. The bed is tiny. It looks small for Maddie, as small as Maddie was. Wheezy. I don't think Kaylee was playing with her dog. Shout out to Wheezy. You know what? I don't either. Because if she was playing with her dog, the next thing that we would have heard that oh, I put sexy by accident. I'm using my iPhone. I'm sorry. It's I don't want to use the word wheezy. Hold on a second. Let me get your heart. I'm sorry. Well, here it is right here. I can't put a little accent on it. Okay. I don't think she had a dog either. Because think about it. if she was playing with her dog, and the next thing you know, here come the intruders, that dog would have been barking and showing his butt. He would have left Kaylee to go see who it was. He would have heard him down coming up. That dog would have heard him coming upstairs, and whether he was locked in his room or still with Kaylee in Maddie's room or with Kaylee in Kaylee's room, either way you look at it, the dog would have been barking. And there's no mention of that by Dylan in the PCA. She didn't say nothing about the dog barking. She just told us in the PCA that she was playing with her dog, and what? 2 or 3 minutes later, somebody talking about they heard something. So if Kaylee saying somebody hit, a dog heard it. And the dog would be letting them know. I showed you that. I called Adam to the stand. Murphy wasn't shy. Murphy knew how to bark. He wasn't the type of dog that people could come in their house that he didn't know, or somebody could be there 2 o'clock in the morning coming up the stairs that he never knew or whatever, and he didn't bark. So according to Dylan's account, that would mean that Murphy knew every single one of the intruders, because she didn't say nothing about him barking after Kaylee said someone's here. If Kaylee heard somebody and said someone's here, the dog would have been on it. Cause I seen Murphy barking, jumping off a chair, going into another room. That dog knows how to bark, and he has some aggressiveness to him. He's not just some little, passive dog. He's got some aggressiveness to him. And that's the reason for a dog. One of them anyway is protection. It's people that just have it as a companion may argue the difference, but a dog should be one reason for protection. To let people that come to your door know they're gonna have problems if they come in there unarmed. Or they're gonna have problems, period, because they gotta get you and they gotta get the dog. They gotta get you and they gotta get the dog. And so the intruders would have heard that. So you mean to tell me they just came up there and separated Kaylee from her dog and put him in the room? Come on now. Come on now. Make it make sense. I just don't believe it. Right. That's right. I look about Maddie's size and sleep on twin bed. No way could a girl Kaylee's size fit on there with me naturally. And I'm as small bone as Prince was and weigh 100 pounds, right? Plus I shift around at night. I agree. Thank you, Cindy. I give you a brain for that. I appreciate that because that's the way I envisioned it. That bed is tiny, even for a small person. And so there's no way that Kaylee and Maddie were trying to sleep together in that bed. Now, if they'd have said, if it had all jumped off in Kaylee's room where there was still a double bed or whatever, that's one thing. But that little tiny bed, and then I think that the bed is not wedged up against the wall. It's in the middle of the room. So how could Kaylee be on that little bitty bed trapped? Because if you look at, I got a picture of Maddie's bed in her room when you first open the door. How could she be trapped? And the bed is not even wedged up against the wall. It's a window there with those boots in it. There's space on both sides of the bed. So it wasn't wedged up against the wall. So I don't understand how somebody could say that she was trapped, insinuating she was trying to get out. You know, that's some evil mess to just try to conjure up that thought in your mind that this girl was trying to get out of there, and maybe, or maybe that, you know, she wasn't deceased and had an opportunity to come on out of the room and that she would leave Maddie. That's just, you know, maybe it's just me reading too much into it, but I got a bad vibe from that. It had me upset because all four of them lost their lives. And all four of them was going down for it. And it just makes me nervous that Dylan and Bethany are supposedly, in the house. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I can't believe it. Unless they were in cahoots with whoever did it. I just, unless they can say, show me some hard evidence of what's going on here, I just don't believe it. All right, we got 5 minutes, y'all. I gotta read a couple more. Something tells me that the dog knew the intruder. Okay, this is popular opinion, Roseanne. This is popular opinion because after seeing the videos of the dog, how he reacted to Adam, and how he, somebody he probably knew, and he was aggressive with him. I thought the dog was just a little ladies' man dog, loved to jump up in those girls' lap on the sofa. Because if you look at the pictures, he's on the sofa and on somebody, he loved the women. And so he was good with that. But when you watch videos of Murphy, he is aggressive. And there's no way Kaylee heard something. And then the dog heard it probably before Kaylee. There's no way that dog would have went to investigate. And if she heard something, she would let her dog go investigate. Or she would have went with her dog to investigate. If you think somebody's at your house that ain't supposed to be there, you're going to let your dog go investigate. I would. Or I go with my dog walking in front. Isn't that the case? Yep, that's a good point too. Blah. Shout out to Blah. I'm gonna give you a brain for that. You mean to tell me Brian Coburger could move Kaylee, her dead weight, as sizable as Kaylee was, once she's deceased, she's dead weight. And then Brian Coburger lifted her up and put her on top of Maddie. He had time to do all of this. That's a good point right there. I said brain. I'm sorry. I'm getting there. Just getting a little sleepy. All right, here's your brain, Blah. That's true. How is Brian Coburger moving these bodies around, managing dogs and all that by himself in 7 or 8 minutes? I just don't understand why they had to lie to us. If you don't know who did it, just say that. Nothing makes sense. Shout out to Lady G. And it's getting worse, and it's getting less and less. It's people going around now saying it was a psyop. That's how bad it is. That's how bad this case stinks. People are going around saying psyop now. And then they mention one dog whimpering and maybe barking a little bit on a ring cam, and here his owner is being brutally murdered. Not only his owner, but his owner's sister, best friend. And the dog is you just caught him on barking one time, whimpering a little bit. I don't see that dog whimpering, period. I don't see Murphy as a whimpering dog. I don't see it. I can't see it. Lady G, I just don't think this is a strange or dangerous situation. This person was comfortable going into a huge house with multiple cars outside, exactly. Then comfortable enough to clean up before leaving. Shout out to Lady G. Don't forget, comfortable enough to go in there with just a knife and no gun. All stab wounds. comfortable enough to go in there with just some blades instead of some bullets. That's even worse. That's even more irresponsible. If you call yourself going to commit a mass murder and you by yourself, just one person, nah, I can't see it. I can't even see it. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I can't see it. And then they keep saying stab wounds are personal. Not necessarily. You got serial killers and mass murderers that don't even have a reason for killing, but they want to do it with a knife. They don't even have a reason for the crime. They're not mad with nobody. They just want. How many times have you seen mass murderers and serial killers being interviewed and they tell you, when I woke up that morning, I knew I was going to kill somebody. It didn't even matter who they killed or how they did it. It was in their mind that they were going to do it, and that's what they did. All right, you good people, I want to thank you so much for coming out to the Hard Truth Thursday Night Live. You know how we do it. We have a good time. We got some really great discussion in tonight. I really enjoyed you guys. I want to say thank you so much to everyone. And I also want to give recognition to those who gave to the channel, because, you know, that's keeping the channel going. You know, we have to pay for subscription. We have to, you know, I have to compensate for a lot of this time I spend doing this. And so I'm grateful that y'all been just doing a great job, an awesome job of keeping me up. And then we got people that just, they've been giving and giving and keeping on giving. And so I just want to say a quick thank you to Q's Bill for a super chat, $5. AF for 2 super chats that total $70. And then LA super chat sticker $9.99. And I think this Shadow, I'm not sure, is for today, but it's for $20 from Shadow. Okay, so thank you very much to those people. Always a pleasure. You always come in and show some love. Some people not able or ready, but y'all look out for the channel. Y'all look out for me. I thank you. All right, now I'm gonna leave this open for 10 minutes, and so y'all can keep talking to each other until about 12:42 Eastern Standard Time. That's 10 minutes. So you can keep going, talking to each other. And if anybody wants to do cash donations, you know that the information is on the community page. Please make sure to like the video if you haven't, and share it, refer it, say how great it was, or whatever you have to do to get people to say, oh, I'm going to watch that live. Okay, so thank you for everyone that came and liked the video. Thank you for everybody that participated in the chat. All right, that's the heart of our lives, talking to each other. All right, that's how we do it. So if you haven't become a member yet, you can be a member for $2.99, and then you'll have 2 lives every week instead of one private and one public. Okay, you don't want to miss our members only lives. $2.99 a month, that's not a lot. Even if the roof about to fall in, $2.99 ain't gonna make no difference. It's still gonna fall in. That's a terrible way to think of it, isn't it? Oh, it's all good. All right, Hard Truth is sleeping, so I'm signing off, and I'm going to send y'all some love right here, right now. There you go. And I'm going to disconnect at about 12:43, 12:45. So have at it, and night-night. All right, we got a super chat sticker by Lady G for $4.99 at the buzzer. All right, you caught the at the buzzer. All right, thank you so much. God bless. God bless. Good night, good people.